men wish death upon me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. And I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be, and guys trying to take my life away. I put a hole in a friend of mine for messing around with me. My back on the wall, now you gon' see. Better watch how you talk when you talk about me, 'cause I'll come take your life away. Many men, many, 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 many men wish death upon me. Lord, I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me. Now they was the guys putting money on my head. Go on and get your refund, mother, I ain't dead. I'm the diamond in the dirt that ain't been found. I'm the underground king and I ain't been crowned. When I rhyme, something special happen every time. I'm the greatest, something like Ali in his prime. I walk the block with the bundles, I've been knocked on the humble. Swing the ox when I rumble, show your butt what my gun do. Got a temper, do, go ahead, lose your head. Turn your back on me, get caught and lose your legs. I walk around, belt on my waist, chip on my shoulder till I do another song in your face. Do this beef ain't over. Many men, many, 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 many men wish death upon me. Lord, I don't cry no more. Don't look to the sky no more. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on my soul. Somewhere my heart turned cold. Have mercy on many men. Many, 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 many men wish death upon me. Sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. Joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. Death gotta be easy, 'cause life is hard. It'll leave you physically, mentally, and emotionally scarred. This is for my dudes on the block, twisting trees and cigars. For the dudes on lock, doing life behind bars. I don't see, only God can judge me, 'cause I see things clear. Quick, these crackers will give my black butt 100 years. I'm like Party and Goodfellas, you can call me the Dawn. Like Malcolm by any means with my
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control. Late night in Moscow, where nothing ever happens. Night blends in the moonlight, no escape. White knight yonder, lurking knife in the dark.
Paranoid searches for a full vision ride. Under surveillance, nowhere to hide. Influence creeps like blood on the floor. Fine line between peace and war. From campus to crypt, the script flips tragic. Mystic and twisted, magic turn manic. Walk through lingers, but the echo remain. Chains of the slain and eternal pain.
And here we go.
Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? I hope that everybody is having a fantastic day. I am so excited for this evening. We have Amber Vance here live in the Hive. She's backstage. She's excited. I'm excited. I hope you all are excited as well. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the Hive Mind. I'm your host, Birdie. I go live weeknights at 7 p.m. Central. This is a contrarian thinking live stream. We like to think past the headlines. We question the narrative. We don't just take simple answers to questions that are not simple questions. And if you're easily rattled, triggered, or offended on behalf of other people, you're probably not going to like me. Probably not going to like the majority of the people in the chat. You still might like my guest, though. Amber Vance is extremely likable. And however, I would encourage you to hang out. I got the best mods on YouTube, being Discord Dawn, Luna Bliss, UFO Dog, and formerly known as Beck. They will give you enough leash to hang yourself. Now, as you all are filing in, please go and do all the things. Hit like, hit subscribe, share this out to your normie NPC friends, and let them know that Amber Vance is here. We're going to be discussing the Idaho 4 cover-up, if that's what you want to call it. It's a cover-up in combination with many other choice words. I'm going to put this full screen. If you'd like to screenshot this QR code so that after the live concludes, all you got to do is go into your Photos app and tap that code, and it'll bring up the Spotify playlist for the intro songs, my TikTok, our Discord, as well as the Hive merch store. In addition to that, the mods will be dropping the Hive Plus link, which will give you the emojis and the loyalty badge next to your screen name during the 7 p.m. chats. And then on Saturday, we have the chat reserved just for the Hive Plus members. However, all of the streams are free, always will be free. Thank you to everybody who does choose to support the stream with Hive Plus. Now, before I bring up Amber, and I don't want to ruin our flow of our conversation, let me just read this disclaimer. The following material includes archived public posts, forum content, and news articles shared for informational and analytical purposes only. These materials are presented as historical records and do not reflect my views or assertions of fact. No claims are being made regarding guilt, innocence, or intent. Viewers are encouraged to verify all information independently and understand that online content may be inaccurate, incomplete, or misleading. This channel and its guests abide by YouTube's community guidelines. Content is not intended to harass, defame, or incite violence against any individual or group. This channel, being Birdie_Hive, does not promote hate speech, harassment, or harmful misinformation. And now, Hive, without further ado, I am going to go ahead and bring up Miss Amber Vance. How are you doing? Oh, hang on. I had you on mute. I do that every time, Amber. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. And Hive, please let me know if the volume on the mics is equal. Amber, thanks for taking some time this evening and pop on into the Hive. I know you and I have been messaging probably for a couple months now trying to make this happen. So I'm stoked that we finally were able to.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And so I have your socials page up here. If anybody doesn't know who you are, if they'd like to follow you, they can find you on YouTube and TikTok. Are those your two main platforms? Okay. All right. And now I thought this would be fun to kind of go back to the past and talk about the first time that I saw one of your videos, and it was this video. And Hive, I don't know if this video is going to look familiar to you all either, but Amber, this is when I discovered your Idaho 4 journey.
Yeah, my crash out about the documents.
So walk me through that as far as like, where were you before this video? Because that video went like fairly viral, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, so I had been following it, I guess a little when it happened, just because I was like, oh my God, this is so sad. And I wonder what happened. Then they arrested him. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe. Like, Brian Koberger does have that look to him, and I was like, maybe. Yep. We'll see. But when the trial comes, I'll, look at all the evidence, whatever. That plea deal came around and I was like, nope. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to have to look into this. And then the documents dropped and I was like, here it is. I'm going to do it.
You literally have every document printed off there, don't you?
Yes, I still have every document printed off.
That is crazy. Do you just like to read better on paper instead of staring at a screen?
So much better on paper, because then I can write on them too, and I can like rearrange the papers where they're better organized in my eyes. So even the new ones are all right here.
You probably go through a ton of paper. Jesus.
I do.
Now, okay. So I wanted to put that up there because since this video, I know you will touch on other cases too, but would you say the Idaho 4 has kind of taken over as far as your research and your time goes then?
Yeah. I usually have a big case. Before I was really just doing like stories, local stories, ghost stories, historical stories, some missing people. But then a Missouri case came along, which was the Cassidy Rainwater case, fell into a rabbit hole. And ever since then, I would always have like one big case and then I'll do other things on the side. And before the Idaho 4, the Springfield 3 was my big case.
I see. That was also the Springfield 3. I think that was the case that Chris Whitcomb was going to write a book
Yeah.
about before Broken Plea.
Yeah, I was shook when I heard that.
Mhm.
Like, what are the odds of that? Because
That's
the
crazy.
Springfield 3 is like a 34-year-old missing person case.
It's a 34-year-old case, or the person missing it?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
missing person
yeah, that's
case.
what I thought.
3 women went missing in Springfield, Missouri in like 92.
That's crazy.
So it was just weird that we both ended up in the same 2 cases, which when that book comes out, I'm gonna see if he knows what he's talking about.
Right. So, and now you've read Broken Plea. Obviously, I see on your
Mhm.
YouTube channel you're breaking it down. Anything in that before we kind of dive into the new documents, which are going to also just be, I'm sure, quite the conversation. But anything for Broken Plea that stood out?
I mean, there was a lot that stood out and then a lot that I just like to complain about, really.
Give me what is your number one complaint about it?
Stain F. Oh my God.
Stain
The
F.
stain that he had attributed to Xana on the table, he mentioned it so many times.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, it was in the revised report, but apparently he didn't get Sutton's revised report, or if he did, he just didn't change it.
Yes, I agree. And Hive, I know that I usually will take some time and say what's up to everybody. So I just want to quickly say thank you to Blue Eyed Candy for gifting out 5 of the Hive Plus memberships, and enigmid. How do you say that word?
Huh?
How do you say this
Oh, I was
word?
reading all the comments.
Enigmatically sane said, Amber brought my girlfriend and I into this rabbit hole. Whatever happened in the 1122, those victims deserve better friends in that house. My girlfriend would probably like me to add, allegedly. Well, thank you so much for the super chat. And
I agree.
I totally agree too. I've said, if you were somebody that was at that house and you heard those screams, or if you lived in that area and you knew of these people and you didn't do anything, you're kind of a piece of shit for just letting that
Yeah.
go and not going to investigate and see, like, is there domestic stuff? Like, what was that?
Right. And that's when I was in my 20s, I lived, well, it was an apartment with just 2 of us, but there were like 5 of us that lived in that apartment all the time. And if just one of them, if I would have thought they were passed out on the floor, would have been enough for me to wake everybody up. Like, what is going on in here? Why is
Yeah.
so and so passed out? And I still don't believe that Dylan, if she could see Xana, no pants on, know the color sweatshirt she's wearing, there's no way she couldn't tell that like her entire body was discolored with fluid.
I don't buy it for a second.
Not for a second.
And that's what I've said too, in the past, where I'm like, and I kind of start the stream with, if you're easily, rattled, triggered, or offended on behalf of others, and if you're getting offended on behalf of Dylan or Bethany, I would say, put yourself in a victim's family member's shoes, where you have to sit there and listen to the interviews, and not just Dylan and Bethany, but also the investigators laugh about their glory
Yeah.
days in the frat house, as your son or daughter was just murdered a couple days before. And then imagine having heard the audio, seeing the phone activity. I mean, imagine if this would have come out. How could you have sat there and it's just,
I
it
don't
leaves me
understand it.
speechless.
I don't understand it. And I tried really hard to defend the roommates for a while. Like, I wanted so badly to believe them. Like, I caught myself jumping through hoops, and that's when I was like, you know what? No, I've got to quit making excuses for these girls.
I always like when people say, I wanted it to be this way. And it seems as if maybe you kind of are looking into things to prove them true, right? Or
Mhm.
debunk if you do look into stuff. I don't know which approach you take, but just kind of hearing you talk, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I think I go at it just like with I just want to know what happened. I try to like let go of everything when I approach something, like pretend I don't know anything, look at it like I've never heard anything in my whole life.
Yeah. And so it's weird because I kind of have, depending on the case, right? Like, I had this feeling for the Chris Watts case. I had it for the Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito case. I had it for this case. Something inside of me is just like, that's not what happened. Like, I just
Right.
can, for whatever reason, and for better or worse, once I have that thought, it's really hard for me to shake it.
I know, I agree. It's the same for me. Once I decide, like, it was like the plea deal with Koberger. I was like, nope. It made all
Yeah.
my hair stand up, and I couldn't let it go after that.
And he didn't say anything. He didn't say a word.
Right.
I don't get it.
Nothing.
So, I mean, these are all the things too. It's like I've talked about this, and so have you many times. It never doesn't surprise me saying it out loud, just how insane some of this stuff is. And that's going to lead me to the new documents, not just a couple of days ago, but also it sounds like there's another drop that just happened. And you and I were both
Yeah.
saying this is the first time in a while. It feels like you can't keep up with it.
Can't keep up. So many interviews, and it's a bunch of incredible creators that got a lot of the interviews and stuff. But I'm like, every time I pull up anywhere, I'm like, there's new stuff for me to listen to or to read or to whatever.
New FOIA requests, new
Yes.
interviews, and some of the interviews, they're so long, they sound terrible. So you have to actually
Like
actively
the Jack DeCore
listen.
one.
Yes,
It was so far away.
it's just I don't understand it. And so backstage, you were actually, before we get to that, I wanted to ask you about this. Have you seen the recent only available at not availables breakdown of the girl on the 1112 cam that looks like she is carrying a towel, possibly
Yes.
wearing latex glove? What do you think about that?
I don't really know because I'm not super familiar with that girl. Like, I haven't ever heard of her before, but I love that creator because he is so observant.
He
Like, he
is.
brings things up that I would have never. But the skedaddling right off to Jack D's house is wild.
And then you see a couple of guys walking down the street too. They're all staring up there. They know what happened.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite things about that video, if I could even say the word favorite, maybe
Right.
just one of the things that's like the biggest relief from it is that it seems that we finally have something on camera that through and through looks suspicious and nefarious. And it's hard to argue.
Yeah. If you ask me, there's a bunch of stuff on camera that seems nefarious and out of place.
Well,
Just
correct.
like it's
yeah.
that same area in front of 1112 at like what, 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, where there was a truck that pulls up and they're like loading bins into the truck.
Yes. I
I
think
was
it's
like, what are they doing? Or
It's
Murphy
actually-
wandering around at 6:30 in the morning. What was he doing?
I couldn't believe when somebody caught Murphy on the camera.
I think it was the same guy that caught him on the camera. I think it was the same one.
Yeah, he is very observant, but I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on that. We were breaking that down the last couple of nights, and so I'm always curious. I felt like that was a pretty big.
Yeah, I want to retrace them because I've been trying to trace people and like how they relate to each other. But I didn't know a lot about the girls at 1112 until recently.
Is that board actually updated with photos and stuff right there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know if y'all can like actually see it, but it's the only way I can really keep track of everybody.
Dude, that's badass. It's like an
Trying to figure out how to
OG.
make like a digital version, but I'm a paper person, so it's unfortunate.
That's amazing. Well, again, I just want to say before we kind of dive into the new documents, thank you for taking some time this evening to be here with us. And
Yeah, thanks for having me. I was really nervous because this is my first YouTube live. I've only done one
no.
TikTok live ever with Nikki Midwest, and she made me so brave enough to do this.
oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it's really I think it's so much better than TikTok Live. You don't have to worry about kind of getting cut off for stupid algorithm stuff. And also, once you're done doing a live here, it's just up. People can watch it. You don't have to
I love
download it
that.
yourself. Yeah. It's so much
that's
better.
half the way. I almost never can watch videos this time of night, so I don't get to see your videos live a lot, but I watch them later because they're up there.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I want to now kind of switch gears into the exhibit that you had talked to me backstage. I was like, what should we start with today? And you brought up the witness identification, by bushy eyebrows. And so, I mean, that whole thing to begin with is wild. And now you were saying that within this document, there's stuff from the grand jury. If you want to explain
Yes,
that.
at the very end, this is a like 145-page document. But when you get to like the very last exhibit, it's got little excerpts of her grand jury testimony. But what's weird, so I talked about this a little bit on my TikTok today, is I didn't realize that Dylan was talking about this dream she had with this woman with a big nose. Do you remember anything about that?
No.
Okay, well, apparently this was a big deal because turns out she's talking about how she thought when she opened the door it was a dream, and she has two different versions of seeing this guy in her head. And in one, he's running with high knees.
Like how
And
you'd warm up for football?
yeah, or like maybe like cartoon running. She calls it prancing at one point. I'm like prancing, dancing, high knee running. I don't know. But
Is this it
yes, in
right
this
here?
grand jury testimony, the little ones. Mhm.
Okay. Let me get this. I'm going to get you added to the screen up here. 1 second. Let me just add the circle. 1 second. There we go. Okay. All right. Now I got you here. So this is excerpts now from the grand jury.
Mhm. Yep.
And
And
it
if you scroll
says,
down to, let's see, I think it was this one? No, yeah, stop right there. Let's
go up a
see.
little bit right
I
here.
think let's see. Open the door down a little bit more. Mm,
So it says, and at that time I heard someone cry in the back. I mean, do you want to just read maybe a little bit of it, and then because
yeah, I was
I'm
looking for the
curious.
part with the high knees. Like, what a weird, just a weird thing to say. Like, what
It
a weird description.
it's extremely weird. And so it says, it starts with, think of from juror 15, because we didn't want you to just walk away from this crime scene. When you left, were there already other officers on the scene? Yes, sir. Yes. How many officers? I don't know. There were at least 6 or 7. So this is Dylan talking the entire time.
Yes. Well, they bring Bethany on too. I also did not realize that at the grand jury that Bethany testified over Zoom. I thought that was the only time she actually went back. But yeah,
Like
no, she
a Zoom
testified over
call.
Zoom. Yeah,
Oh
at
my
the grand
God.
jury hearing. Yeah, that's weird to me.
It's so weird. It makes it seem, I've said this a couple of times, Amber. So now I'm going to say it to you, and because I don't know what your thoughts are going to be on it. I've always said, what would get Dylan and Bethany this treatment? Like, they have kid glove questions. They're always told they're not suspects. So time and time again, grand jury now testifying by Zoom, not having to go back, fighting subpoenas on Bethany's part, right? Wanting to go
Mhm.
home for Thanksgiving dinner.
Mhm.
What is that? Are
Fear.
they being protected? Did they
Fear is what I
witness
think on Bethany's part. I think Bethany's actually afraid. What
for
she's
her?
afraid of, I don't know. Afraid of being arrested, afraid of being hurt, afraid of, I don't know, but I think hers is actual fear.
Yeah, I'd be curious what she's scared of. Um,
Mhm.
Born to be Wild said immunity deal. That's what pops into
That's
my
what I'm
head a
too.
lot.
Mhm.
I just don't get how you'd get an
I don't
immunity
get it
deal.
either, but you know something I learned the other day, and I don't think I've actually ever said this anywhere else, but I was
What's that?
looking up so a weird thread between the Springfield 3 and the Idaho 4 is, the last name Robb, ROBB. Well,
Okay.
that's Dylan's mom's last name. Well, that's a big suspect in the Springfield 3. It just made me pay attention. So I was looking that up, and, Lily Robb, who is Dylan Mortenson's mom, worked for U of I in 2022. At least that's what her thing says.
It's
Somebody
there's so
fact
many.
checked me on that, but, like, I looked it up and her work history and whatnot, that's what it shows.
So what do you think that could mean? Just connected, protected,
Yeah, it could mean
university
that her daughter
combo?
ain't getting in trouble for nothing.
Dude, Amber, I always say this, and I know that this probably just sends people up a wall because I have this like mental block that is, I can believe it, but it's still so hard for me to think about a quadruple murder cover up compared to, okay, you were drunk and it was a hit and run and
Mhm.
somebody got seriously hurt. I could see that being covered up. I could see like, you know, some sort of SA or DV being covered up, but to have a quadruple murder that's on the world
Right.
news, I just find that mind-boggling
It
that
is.
anybody would be powerful enough to cover that up.
That's why this case baffles me.
It
I really can't wrap my head around it because that's what I've said, like, everyday conspiracies, I fully believe in the conspiracies, but most conspiracies are small conspiracies. They start with one person. They really only require one person. Everybody else is just doing their job, following orders, trusting their
Yes.
coworkers, just doing what their boss says. But a grand conspiracy requires multiple players and multiple agencies, all different pulling strings. And I'm like, grand conspiracies do happen.
They do.
But like, why? Why for a random quadruple homicide?
That's what I don't get. That's what I don't get. And it's like, it could just be too, not just, but I've said, who are they lying for?
Right. I think it has a lot to do with the university personally. I really do. Just because of the money of the university being tied into the money for the city of Moscow, and they want it to be anyone but a student, because that would affect enrollment numbers, that would affect money, it would shut down some fraternities, and dang near everybody in a position of power in the state of Idaho went to U of I. Most of them were in Greek life. They're all the old Greeks. Watch out for the new Greeks.
And so it's very odd too, because if Idaho doesn't take that hit, then Washington State does. And you would think that Washington State would want to be defending themselves and say, we're not going to take the hit of this guy going here. We don't want our tuition to go down. And it doesn't seem like they've been like, no, well, he's fired, right? We fired him.
I'm really wondering what's going on with the WSU lawsuit, though. I haven't kept up with it, so I'm not sure. But I was always hoping WSU would like punch back in their own way, like, no, it wasn't us.
You would
We're
think.
not liable for that.
I've always said too that the funding is what kind of perks my ears up, the NIJ funding that WSU has gotten. And if there is something that the funding had maybe started at that school, being the CSI lab, how they should have known, I don't know how you can predict Koberger committing this crime in a different state, not during work hours. And I've said the only way you're going to be able to do that is with some sort of AI predictive criminal behavior tool, like a Palantir. That's more of a high level conspiracy of like ushering that in on the coattails of a tragedy. As we know, America is very, very good at ushering in control and spying techniques on the coattails of tragedies.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, we've got that down. A lot of other things we need some work on, but we definitely know how to make the most out of a tragedy or some sort of crazy situation.
For sure.
Yeah. I did find in this document right here. So I think this is the part that you were mentioning. So describe what the person looked like. And it says, I knew the person was white. I don't know how, but I just knew it was male.
If you go down just a little bit further, I think I can almost see. Wait. Dang it.
Am I on the left side or the right side?
The part about the high knees was on the right side.
Okay.
And it's like the second to last. I have the printed one right here.
Okay, you can read from that.
Yeah,
I'm going to try to.
She says, I guess when I saw the person, there was like two snares in my head. There was someone running with high knees and then someone walking towards the sliding door. Basically saying, she's like, I don't know exactly. Because before that, they asked her, like, where were you when you saw him?
I got it right here. Look at this.
Yep. There it is.
Okay, so let me read a couple things above it. So it says, let's go back to the diagram. This would be state exhibit number 7. So when you saw this figure, remind us where you were at. I was in my room, like peeking my head out, so the door was a little bit open. Okay, remind us where you saw this figure. And she goes on to say, okay, I believe he was like around here, maybe walking by or something. Clearly, she's pointing at some photo they have up. Okay, what direction was his body pointing towards? Honest, I don't know for sure. I guess when I saw the person, there was like two snares in my head. There was someone running with high knees and then someone walking towards the sliding door. Okay. And I've asked my therapist, like, what do you think it could be? And it could have been like they're both same thing happening. He maybe started running and then walking. Okay. So I don't think his body was ever like at one point. He might have had his body facing towards me, but I feel like it's more straight across going out that way. But I couldn't say for sure. I can't fully remember that. Okay, I'm going to pause right here. I can't even imagine hearing this in person.
Me
I
either. That's her, like, the way she talks, I wouldn't be able to take anything she said seriously.
oh my god. She doesn't remember anything. Like, that's
Nothing.
what I think what is one of the most maddening things about this case, Amber, is we talk about, victim blaming or I guess the witness blaming being Dylan and Bethany or whatever you want to, I guess categorize them as. Nobody saw this. Nobody saw this, but yet the news said and the cop said they are not suspects immediately.
Yes, immediately. And Dylan too, when you go back like higher up in this document, there's another one. Let me see if I can tell you exactly where it's at.
Yeah, and if you want to
It was
read
somebody
off
named
yours,
Erin. It was towards
okay.
the top, but she's
Okay.
talking about how much she thought all of it was a dream. And she was even telling her that when she opened her door and saw the figure, she thought she was dreaming. And that she knows she was dreaming about this woman also dressed in all black with a big nose. But
Jesus.
and she thinks she was dreaming about the figure running with high knees, but not the figure walking towards the sliding door. But then she said that could be a dream too. Yeah, look where somewhere where Dylan is going back and forth with someone named Erin, Erin, like
Okay.
girl Erin.
Okay. Okay, so it says speakers on audio, video, Aaron. Okay, here we go. Right here. Okay, and let me just move you on up here. Okay, so if you want to kind of start to break this down, Amber, go for it. I will just kind of scroll along and.
Yeah, so scroll down just to the very next page after this one.
Okay.
Yep, 95. So she starts talking about the biggest chunk. Yeah, oh no, this is her still talking about Boise. You know how cops like to shoot the shit with you for a minute so that you calm down
Yes.
and tell them things.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So a woman so the line right above, if you scroll up just to the bottom, yep. The biggest thing was like that night I kept having dreams of someone just dressed in black. Like there was a dream that there was this woman who was just like pranking people. And she'd go to the houses and wear black. And it was like some joke. Do you remember when Bethany said in her statements that she originally thought it was like a prank going on or like it was some kind of prank she wasn't worried about? That's what she thought Dylan saw was some kind of prank.
Have you ever heard of the super thought out prank theory in this case or no?
I don't think so.
So I'm going to butcher this. This is an email that we've gotten. I've heard this theory a couple of times, but essentially it's that it was a prank gone wrong. And it kind of involves Dylan's boyfriend Quinn and calling people over to the house because they actually thought people were breaking in, and then it escalated. So I've heard a prank gone wrong theory that is well thought out. And it is weird that you just brought up Dylan says prank and Bethany said prank.
Well, weird that you just brought up Quinn because turns out that according to one of these interviews in here, Dylan says she did text Quinn that night and tell him that someone was in their house and that no one was answering their phone. And that he told her, oh, well, it's a party house. You shouldn't worry about it. And that's when she was like, oh, I wasn't worried anymore.
Holy hell. And so I haven't read through this one yet. So you know more about this than me. So
I've been geeking out on this document all day. This specific one.
Luna says, oh my God, seriously. Brandy's, whoa, Sandra, wow. Think twice, said, oh my God. Terry Dog goes, what the hell? Oh my gosh. So yeah. So you've been diving into it. Fill us in. What have you found out so far? And I'll try to scroll and keep up with you. But if you have your notes, just feel free to read that too.
So it's really just that what I got out of it mostly was that one, Dylan's either full of crap. There was no intruder. That's what I've concluded based on everything in this particular document. We've got two options in my point of view, just in my opinion. We've either got no intruder. Everything's made up. The girl in black's made up. The nose is made up. Everything. Or there were, in fact, two people in that house, a man and a woman, both dressed in all black. One running with high knees and one walking out the door.
Holy hell. Okay. So
that's all I can come up with out of like reading the whole thing, because she brings up this dream with this woman dressed in all black with the big nose multiple times. And originally, before the cop showed up, before the cop sat her down, there was no bushy eyebrows. She never said that. She did not say that till later. Originally, she told her friends, who all repeated it, that the guy had a big nose. She told Bethany that. She told Emily that. And even Lyndon Beck repeated it. But then later, when she puts a bushy eyebrow on the guy, now there was a dream girl with a big nose. See what I'm saying there? I don't like that.
Were they on drugs?
I'm starting to wonder. Like, were they doing shrooms or something? Like, because Dylan sounds like she was tripping balls. She was
Yes.
either super tripping or she's being untruthful.
That only available at not available brought up another video and kind of took it a step further with the girl who was wearing the Corner Club sweatshirt and referenced in the Steve G. Brat Norton text messages. And it had said that Dylan, that girl who was wearing the Corner Club sweatshirt, and somebody else had set this up.
The Riley girl that was
Yes.
super good friends with Dylan.
Yes.
I remember. Yes. Yes. And you know what got me about that? He showed the picture of like Dylan and her two friends.
Yep.
December 2022. Oh, but I thought Dylan was so traumatized and she was crying in her room.
I know. Oh, it just, it
enrages me. If my four roommates, my four friends, if anything happened to one of my friends, I would be like V for Vendetta level, like unstoppable for one. But I certainly would not be out partying and acting like nothing happened.
No, it's DEFCON level 5. You better hope that you're arrested by the police first, right? Like that's
right.
It's such a brutal crime in the media. And I actually, just by chance, I had gotten that video by only available, not available. I had that ready to go just in case the second one came up. So I will play that quickly.
Yeah.
If anybody hasn't seen this updated one, it is wild. And there's no background music. I removed it. I did turn the volume down. If you are wearing headphones, I don't want to blow your eardrums out. So here's your warning now.
Is this Riley's boyfriend, the same Riley who twittered that she is legally allowed to commit this? On November the 13th, according to Brad Norton's messages to Steve Goncalves, she claimed that Riley and Bridget set Brian Koberger up. Riley and her boyfriend, and it looks like her boyfriend at the 1112. This here is not Riley, but maybe we can hear Riley in the bathroom. Listen.
Okay, so my pronouns for myself. I see you. It's not like I think I'm two separate people, and it's like
Riley and Bridget and Dylan, and here all of them together on December the 13th, 22. And it looks like that this girl with probably gloves and the gray Corner Club sweater who rushed over to Jack D's house with a few things covered under her blanket is this girl with the gray hoodie at the 1112 King Road house. And the window frame is off, and this area is not captured by the porch cam. Shout out to both of them for sending me this clip.
Did he say who that girl is?
I feel like he said if it's Riley.
I feel like that's not Riley.
I don't think it is either after seeing some of the photos. I will say too, I don't know what only available at not available does for his volumes. I turned that down to 50% and it still hurt my ears. So again, I'm very sorry, but I just think that I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked that this stuff is starting to be found out. And as shocked as I am, I'm not surprised that they kept it under wraps and they redacted it. Could you imagine the mess that they would have had if this came out right away?
Oh my God. There would have been an uproar because at this point, I feel like the people that believe it, a lot of them, well, not all of them, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are open-minded that still believe it, but they're still like feeling their way through it. But some people are so like, oh, they're clinging to it for dear life. Like their own well-being depends on them believing the story. I feel like if it would have all come out at once, it would have been like an uproar. But instead, they gave everybody enough time to get set in their ways for people that are, a set in their way type of person.
And Dina Seitz said, and the girls at 1112 gave Jack D access to the light bulb camera video footage. That's right.
Yes. And it was one of Kaylee's friends, Kayla Wynn. So proud I know how to say that name now because
Wow.
all my friends in the comments had to tell me how to say it because I didn't know how to say it. It was that like weird, the complicated last name. But in her interview, she talked about how the girls, the King Road girls that were really good friends with Kaylee, like heard from Jack that Kaylee called him during the crimes. But it was like the way she said it that sounded like she was insinuating that they didn't just say that Kaylee called the same night, but that Kaylee called like during the crimes. And she was like right at 3:00. And she was just so like sure about it. I don't know. There was something about the way she was like talking about that I was like, hold up. What is like the connection between Jack D and these girls? Now I do know that some of those King Road girls were dating some of Jack D's roommates.
Which could explain why maybe that girl runs over to the house.
Yes.
Do you remember the call in that Kara Kernodle had to Ashley Banfield immediately after this happened? She's like, this is closer than that. They would not have been able to do this if they didn't know them. I just feel like it's so much closer.
I
And
agree.
it's so weird how the news and the narrative in the state have gaslit people to believe just the likelihood of what their narrative was happened. It's actually scary to think about that. A guy, no motive, no connection, never found the murder weapon. There's no blood in his apartment. There's literally a microscopic piece of trace DNA that doesn't even prove murder. It just proves possible contact at some point. And he was about to get put into the murder room that they're building in Idaho.
Yeah. They brought back the firing squad for him. That's crazy. And it gets me too is that, so we talked a little bit when we talked on the phone about the unknown blood and all that.
Yes.
It bothers me how much untested samples are still in that house. Like we know about the unknown blood, the unknown males, you know, A was the sheath, B was the handrail, C was Jack D's apartment, D was the glove. But there are all of these stains right here. These were all like combinations, like mixtures. Like the ones, yeah, right here. Those are all like Kaylee and Maddie. But there's somebody else. They didn't identify the somebody else.
Do you think, or have you ever thought through who that could be? You don't necessarily have to say names because I know that it's always a little bit sketchy to say somebody's names. You don't want to bring them in, or it's all alleged. But do you believe that it's somebody in the friend group, or do you believe that it's an outsider?
I don't think it's an outsider necessarily. I don't think a stranger could have done this. I think the person that did this, or people that did this, knew exactly who was in that house, exactly whose room was whose. I mean, I don't see how it could be a stranger, but I don't necessarily know if it's somebody close friend group or extended friend group. I don't know. This case is so baffling to me. Every time I think I get it narrowed down where I'm like, okay. I think I'm developing a theory that I believe. Nope. Like something happens that I'm like, well, that doesn't fit here. That doesn't fit here. And I'm like, one day, even if it takes all of us together to build it, something will come along where everything I feel like clicks into place and it'll get a little more clear. But right now we don't even have all the pieces to begin to. But this is not okay. The amount of untested DNA in this crime scene is one of the most egregious, like, miscarriages of law I've ever seen.
It can't just be incompetence. Do you know what I mean?
It can't.
It's purposeful, and it's to cover up something. I've always said too, the reason why they're not going to let us in on the motive is because the motive would explain so much about what most likely occurred as far as the manner of the death. And we know it's already rage, and we already know it's overkill, and we know that this was personal, as the overwhelming majority of stabbings are. That bodies were covered, they were posed, there was signature wounds on them. That screams like such a minute fraction of serial killers too, by the way, but it screams a way bigger percentage of this is a personal, emotional kill.
There's no way it wasn't. I don't see how, even if it was as far as like in the drug theory, there would still be some type of emotion because, they're doing this because somebody owes them a lot of money and they're mad type deal. But
True.
like there's still got to be there's emotion there. It's the postmortem wounds that really get me, I think. Because like one, if it was Brian Koberger, how would he have time for that? In his
Amen.
7 minute John Wick ninja moves. Like he did all this and then just hung out and decided to like carve on them. That's crazy.
It is
That's
crazy.
insane.
I was convinced at one point, Amber, and this is going to sound like it was a joke, but I'm serious. In the Dateline documentary, when that came out, I was watching this with my wife, and my wife was like, this is like a school project that you had 48 hours to do, and people were on bath salts who did it. Like they were just like, everything's got to stick. And we were joking around about saying, I would not be shocked if Keith and his old balls said, and Brian Koberger took a bite of Jack in the Box. You know what I mean? Like it's gotten that far out there.
Like just, I feel like, I don't know if you've run across them. I'm sure you have. There are some people on like the other side of this argument that can get real creative with their mental gymnastics that they do to make everything fit, right? I'm like, I feel like the original investigators were also like just real creative people or something. I don't know. I don't know how anybody could look at this and go, definitely one guy with one weapon. One guy that didn't know them at all and had never, ever been in that house before.
One of the things that I've said is there are people that want it to be Brian Koberger so badly, more than they want the right person caught.
Right. Yeah, they care more about being right than they do about the truth at this point, and that's really sad to me. Because at the end of the day, no matter how you feel about Brian Koberger, there are 4 innocent people that lost their lives. 4 beautiful young adults that will never get to fulfill their purpose. And that alone should be enough for people to put their own egos to the side and be like, what happened to them? And it bothers me that so many people are not capable of that.
I've said too that it, from a more of a mainstream media standpoint, it goes against so much natural human instinct. If you were really all about your career and you really wanted to get the truth and break the story, all of these people, and not just News Nation, I feel like I usually gang up on, Ashley Banfield, Brian Enton, Nancy Grace, right? Not just that, but I'm talking, there are so many reporters out there that have access to a big platform. And I think about Broken Plea coming out, and not one person goes and interviews Brian Koberger about this. You talk about ratings, you talk about just from a mainstream media parasite leech for the views and the ratings. Nobody does that.
Maybe they've tried and he just ain't going for it, it is still really odd to me that how silent he is. Like, I get that he was like the picture perfect, like in the dictionary next to pleading the fifth, that was Brian Koberger. Like, he was like, I'm not saying nothing. When you're in the middle of the trial, I get that, of like standing dead silent to the point that judges have to put in pleas for you. But after the fact, like, bro, you're convicted now. You can talk.
Exactly. And it's gotten worse. And the narrative seed planting of Koberger is about to get whacked in prison is crazy to me.
I've been worried about that since it happened. That's one of the things I'm like, I guarantee you something, they're going to off him just so he never talks, just so he can never come out and say, like, this is what happened to me.
I just can't wrap my head around how effed up this whole thing is.
I feel so sorry for Brian Koberger's mom. Like, I know that, like, how close they were, and I know that's really strange to a lot of people, but all I know is that is a woman that loves her son. And I cannot imagine the, like, weight of that. Like, I feel awful, of course, obviously, for the victims' families. Like,
yeah,
but she lost a child too, and he's not dead.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just really sad to me.
And if he didn't do it, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
something that's crazy to me, is like, if he didn't do it, well, then there's this added level to the tragedy of, oh my God, the people who did it are not being held responsible. They've not been brought to justice. And we just destroyed a man's life on a speck of invisible DNA.
and a promising young man. Like, he was very intelligent. Like, he had a nice career in criminology in front of him. Like, who was it? What was the name of his professor from Pennsylvania?
Ramsland?
Yes, yes. Said something along the lines of like he could have done a lot of good in this field. Like, she really projected or had the idea that he was going to make like a positive difference. Now he can't.
And Tina Hauser, this is a great comment, said BK, he kicked the heroin habits. He got into shape. He's eating better. He's at the top of his class. He wants to join the police force. And suddenly it comes to this. There's no way.
Agreed.
I agree. And
I
also,
agree.
all of those things that are, I guess, for lack of better words, they're all positive life choices.
Yeah, and really hard things to accomplish too. Like, that is kicking the heroin. That's a big accomplishment. Losing 200 pounds, that's a huge accomplishment.
Vegan diet,
Top
that's
of his
hard
class.
to do.
Yeah, like, this was an accomplished dude. Dude's got some willpower.
God forbid the guy wants to get into shape, lose some weight. He wants to talk to girls. He wants to, be a man, like a better version of himself. And they've demonized it the entire way. They're throwing pictures of his muffin top on the world news, trying on jeans.
I mean, they wanted to make sure that the world saw him as guilty before he ever got to that courtroom. And they did. It worked. It worked. Look how many people, I mean, I was even in that for a while where I was like, yeah, he probably is guilty. Like, I made TikToks talking about, like, I don't think he's innocent, but I want to see the evidence at the trial. It wasn't until the video you showed, I think, where I was like, welp, was wrong about that.
Brian Koberger is way too perfect of a patsy, of a fall guy, of a person to be convicted of this, that I can't not have the spidey senses, the intuition feel like it's too perfect.
It is. It is too perfect. But my thing, I always go back to this too, of like, where did they get Koberger's name? Like, why him? They don't pluck random people off the streets to be patsies. They don't.
Yeah. I had a working theory on this. I think we talked about it over the weekend a little bit. And I said, the King Road File series that I did, I said, I'm going to try to tie Brian Koberger to King Road. And I went all the way back to 2016, which is an NIJ grant that got the CSI lab that made WSU one of the top criminology schools. And there's two professors. It's Mary Kay Stork and Dr. Macon. They were leading a lot of the funding. And then when Koberger gets there in April, he's already talking to Police Chief Jenkins about this $80,000 a year partnership with the Pullman Police Department that he allegedly never gets. Mm-hmm. Now, if you were going to be a part of that program, you'd have to have access to this CSI lab, which requires a CJIS level 2 background check, which is fingerprinting. It's, like I just said, background checks. So to sidetrack for a moment and think about the WSU should have known, how did they not prevent this? This guy's apparently, a future rapist, and has escorts, or there's girls that have escorts walking with them so that Koberger can't get his hands on him, apparently. Makes no sense to me, because Dr. David Macon has said that all of these 4 participants have met or exceeded all of the requirements to do that. And I don't get it.
I really think a lot of those interviews, we have to remember when we're reading the WSU interviews, especially, that those were all done after his arrest. Everyone talking about it is feeding that through the lens of, oh, the guy has now been picked up for a quadruple homicide. He's a murderer. Because people do automatically knee-jerk think like, oh, well, if the police picked him up, they have a good reason. He's probably guilty. So they're filtering everything they remember about this dude through this lens of like, oh, he's a murderer. When they may have said something completely different if they would have been interviewed before he was arrested.
I would find it very interesting to go find those people again and interview him if he ever gets exonerated, and ask them about the influence that might have, or what influences may they have had on their mind before they answered those questions.
I'm really curious about Koberger's lady friend. I don't know much about her.
I've always found it a little bit strange. This could be biased being a dude. You know, Koberger's text, the birthing hips thing, terrible. I don't know why you'd ever say like the whole like, oh, you have great birthing hips. Have you heard that whole thing where he's been texting people that allegedly?
I mean, he's a little weird, okay?
But
Like,
but I've said this and I've argued this. Like that one's weird, but I'll use one that most people know. And it's the I enjoy that activity of hiking. Maybe we should do that sometime, right?
he
Okay.
has such a formal way of speaking about him. It raises my hair up sometimes because I'm like, I'll be honest, there's something about Brian Koberger that does still bother me.
Okay.
Like, I don't think there's enough evidence to say that he did it, but there's something we don't know about that guy.
I'm sorry. Somebody said that's a quote from The Office, Birdie. So I mean, is Koberger trying to be funny from The Office? And I could see why
I could see that actually.
And he's a PhD student, right? He's on the spectrum for autism, and clearly he is that like, but he is not to the point where I would ever think that, oh my God, this guy's a walking danger enough to have an
Never.
escort
Mhm.
around groups of girls because he's gonna grab them from the shadows. And look at all the interactions that he's had on camera with the DMV and the
Very polite. Very
super polite, normal as hell, dude. If I didn't
Very
know that
normal.
this guy was arrested, I'd be like, okay, this is talking about baseball. So to finish that point though, about the texts, while yes, it's very proper and it's professional, I've said what would look worse. Okay. Just as the media has demonized the good life choices of cleaning up his diet, losing some weight, going to get his PhD, and the other things that we've stated, he's sending a text that is formal that now looks creepy. However, what if the dude would have said, hey, I saw your ass at the pool. Phenomenal ass.
That
Do you
would
know what I
make
mean?
me too. Like,
It's
would
like
make
the
me
guy
too.
can't win. Like
I mean,
either
that's
one
true
could look
because
bad.
when everybody's looking in hindsight, trying to like match him up to the crime. So there's a lot of things, but I do feel like there's like holes in his background. And I think that's what bothers me is there's like something missing and I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's just something that we don't know about him. Like there's too many blank spots.
I'm just
I don't
gonna
know how to
throw this out
explain
there.
like what it's like a weird, like something in the back of my mind sometimes. It's like, there's something we don't know.
Do you find it strange, Amber, that there's like 4 or 5 pictures in existence of him that
Yes.
are before? Like he's a 90s kid. You would have MySpace, you'd have and I get people are gonna say, not everybody's on social media. Okay, I get it, but the internet existed. There's nothing from school papers, there's nothing from
Right.
awards. His name doesn't exist outside of news articles.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like there's something odd. And I just can't put my finger on what it is.
I
Say what you want to say. I can see your thoughts.
well,
Like,
I'm trying to think
your
of like
thoughts
which
rolling.
direction to go with it because I fully think that Brian Koberger is a public facing conviction. For better or worse, he is either a known patsy that he knew he was going to be going into this role. He either got railroaded by his own team and was voluntold that this is what he's doing, or he really got blindsided by it, and everything going as far as communication to him about what's going on is on a need to know basis. Nothing feels like an actual arrest that occurred from a suspect based on the non-verbatim transcript that we saw with Payne and Gunderson that go out there, right? Was it Gunderson or was it? No, not
No,
Gunderson.
it was Payne.
I know Payne, but
I don't
who was
remember
the
the
other
second
cop?
one.
Anyways, that whole interaction, you just spent 30 days looking for the guy who brutally murdered 4 people, and you find him in Pennsylvania. There's a SWAT team at 2 a.m. Is it chaotic? No. Does he resist? No. He's talking about God. He's talking about the natural beauty of the earth. He's talking about why he loves to teach. He thinks he's going to be the TA next semester.
Right. That's
So-
what somebody pointed out too. Why didn't he fight being extradited from Pennsylvania to Idaho? Like, I think it's because he was curious. Like, what do they got? He loved that shit. You know what I mean? Like he loved the crime and the justice system and like learning the inner workings. And I really think he was like, let's see what this is about.
Yeah. Another point too, hilarious. Thank you for bringing this up because Payne walks in and he says to him, "You look familiar."
Yes.
And then they ask him if they know about this case. They go, "Do you watch the news?" I can just picture this. Yeah, I watch the news. Have you heard about this case? He's like, wasn't that the case that, and he says, we've been investigating for, I don't know how long. And I think back to that damn CSI lab. And you said,
did he say that we've been investigating?
Yes. Yes. He says, we've been investigating that for, I don't know how long. And so you had asked, which kind of sent us down this sent us on this tangent. How did they get Bryan Kohberger's name? I have wondered, and I've said, is it a possibility that whoever got that partnership would have been in the position that Bryan Kohberger's in today?
Right. That it's a good question because that would also, the CSI, it gives them access, a lot of access to things. It also gives access to DNA because they're all up in there.
Have you ever heard, it was a long time ago, so I would not be surprised. And I have the video, but it's nowhere that I can access it quickly. So I'll try to describe it. But there's a cop driving and it's nighttime and his body cam is recording the dispatcher for a complaint. Or I believe it's a complaint. Or a tip that is coming in, and it's about a professor. It says he's a black male. He's about 5'10" in height, and he would have access to all of these students' DNA. Have you heard that?
Mm-mm.
So I'll have to find that. Somebody else had put it out there a long time ago, and I don't know if it was scrubbed or not, but I've always thought about that quote and were there people that were starting to piece together just how this fit like a glove for Bryan Kohberger as far as the narrative and how they constructed it. Well, if you know everything about a person, right? You know about a drug history, you know about autism, you know about social awkwardness, right? You have time to construct a narrative on 4 applicants. And if there's only 4 applicants for this partnership, do you then think it's a stretch that these people who are studying the psychology of criminals and how criminals think, that they wouldn't maybe be able to pick out of these 4 people, who is the most likely to have a background story that the public could believe did this?
I think that's a really good point. I think that's a really good point.
Maybe. I'm not even saying I believe it, but just to think that that's out of the realm of possibilities.
Absolutely. I'm with that. I really think all possibilities should be considered. All of them. Especially when you get this far into something and it just gets crazier with every new release of more information.
So what are your thoughts on the general timeline and general narrative? Do you think that the 3 to 4 a.m. hour is when this happened? And do you believe that it was done with a knife? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it happened before 4 o'clock. I know that. Somewhere between that 2-3 o'clock hour seems the most likely to me. But, I don't know. My opinions are always open to change based on new information. But I mean, I do think there was definitely a knife. They were stabbed up.
Have you heard that? Have you heard that interview of Christy, Steve, and Olivia on the couch from the Chronicles of Olivia back in the beginning where
I think so.
Christy talked about
Chronicles of Olivia.
Okay.
Way back in the day.
I think it was Chrissy had said her niece called and said, my niece called me and said that someone came and shot the party up and Kaylee was shot.
Yes, I do remember that. Yep.
And
there was something else about that too. I think somebody else heard that.
As far as, well, I know in the canvassing body cam, you hear them bring up cocaine a lot. And then you hear them also, one of the guy who has a father. So this kid doesn't go to school there. His brother does. And he was working a job and his dad's a cop. And he says something along the lines of, well, I didn't hear any gunshots last night. I think it was that guy. But one of the people says, I didn't hear any gunshots. It's like, okay, why? Nobody asked you.
Yeah. Right. Nobody asked you.
Yeah. Well, so if you had to, like right now, okay, what are you about to look into? I know you said that you were just looking into that bushy eyebrow thing, which is crazy. I wish I would have read up on it more. Is there anything else from that document that you found nuts?
Let me try to think. There was a part about how Dylan thought it was Jack Showalter to begin with. And she was surprised when she saw him on the news being cooperative or whatever because her and Bethany thought it was Showalter.
I've heard that. Yeah, it's crazy.
I have heard that too. But it was nice to see it like the actual name and it's not fill in the blanks.
Mhm.
Then there was the thing about Quinn, which really, that one really got me because why would they not add that into the records log about Dylan reaching out to her boyfriend?
Yeah, I don't think we've seen even a fraction of all the texts that have been sent.
No, there's no way we did. Because she acts like they went back and forth about it.
Do you think Quinn was there?
I don't think so because wasn't there something where Quinn showed like a something at
Snapchat
the beginning?
location.
Yeah, like a Snapchat or like something that showed. I know that can be edited though.
It can be edited. I was
I
just
learned
about to
that by
say that.
accident on my iPhone.
Yeah, you can edit it. And I know too, think about the travel time back to Boise, think about the delay from the official timeline. There was an article, it was from outside of the United States, and I've shown this. It says Quinn, Kelly, and Dylan and Bethany, they locked themselves in a basement room as this was there. And it talks about Quinn being there. It's the only article I've ever seen about that.
I have not seen that one. That's weird.
It is weird. I don't have it handy, but I can send you that. That one's crazy.
I do want you to send me that for sure.
I was just going to ask you something else about this document here. Was there anything that the investigators or the person questioning them, did they ever push back on Dylan? Did they ever try to like catch her in anything? No.
Not that I've noticed. Nope. If anything, they just keep telling her like, you're not a suspect. In one of these pages, they actually went into like, we're going to ask you some things. And if you get uncomfortable, you can just tell us you're not comfortable with that and you want to stop. And I was like, in what reality?
Let's read that. So here it is. It says, this is Detective Lake and Dylan Mortensen. Detective Lake, perfect. Dylan, as we previously stated, you do not have to answer our questions. You are not a suspect. If there's a question that makes you uncomfortable or you just don't feel comfortable with it, just let us know and we can bypass it. If you build comfort towards it later, we can address that later. Okay. And at any given time, you can tell us I'm done. And we understand. I think my mom had talked about, it's just like, that is not how you interview somebody.
No, they're meaner. Police are meaner to average citizens in traffic stops.
I got a ticket for taking a Culver's order number. That was my high school football jersey number. I got pulled over for that and I got a ticket for theft. It was a little plastic triangle.
What?
Okay. Yeah. I've got a ticket for going 7 over in the rain for too fast for conditions. This chick waits 8 hours after a quadruple murder and apparently sees people doing high knees in her living room, doesn't know if it's a dream, sees bushy eyebrows, maybe a man in the mask, kind of tall, basketball player, skinny build, but that doesn't really ever answer.
Woman with the big nose too.
Oh my God.
It makes no sense. Do you know though, here's something that I can't remember. I'm hoping maybe somebody in here tonight can tell me because I want to refine this. Okay. But it was in one of the Chris Whitcomb interviews. I don't remember who was interviewing him. If it was Devil's Advocate or if it was you or if it was somebody else. But he said something along the lines, somebody asked if the rumor about Bethany and Jack D was true.
Yes.
About like they had something. And he was like, not Bethany.
That was on our interview. And I actually have a quick cut of just the Q&A. And I can pull that up quickly.
Yeah,
it's funny you bring that up.
I wanted to, because I was like, I'm going to have to scour YouTube for this and find the clip.
And just so you guys know, if anybody does want to go back and watch not the whole interview, I have the Q&A broken up, and then I have just the interview part quick cut. So if you just want to hear the super chat questions
for
that
very,
people
very
asked,
short period of time and less
that people asked, this is the video for it. So there is
handy.
Oh yeah. Was it in the beginning? See, I'm trying to remember when it was now, but as I'm looking, because I'll see the question pop up, what is it about that makes you curious?
So I can't remember how he worded it exactly that got my hair up, but it was like it was somebody in the house, right?
Mm-hmm. So not
Well, if
that
it's not
combination.
Bethany, it would be Dylan. Well, then I was watching Jenna McClure's interview, I think. I think it was
Okay.
hers. Yes, it was. It was for sure hers. And they asked her something about like, how do all the girls in the house get along? And she's like, everybody gets along great, you know. And the officer said something along the lines of, so nobody's stealing each other's boyfriends or anything. And he was like kind of joking. But she was like, I mean, maybe. But no, they get along fine. And they both kind of laughed, but I was like, hold up. What was that? Because then I remembered this part. And I was like, if it wasn't Bethany, but it
It had
was
to be
Jack,
Dylan.
it couldn't be Kaylee, it couldn't be Maddie, couldn't be Xana, couldn't be Ethan. That leaves one single person. Dylan.
Yes. And I want
So
to
it just made me
freaking
wonder,
find
like,
that. I hope that I could find that because the way that he answers it, he definitely knows.
he
what it
knows
was.
something. Yeah. Immediately I knew that.
And again, Hive, I'm sorry that I didn't have this ready to go, but
Yeah. We didn't know we were going to bring it up.
yeah. Hey, God, what was Bethany's exculpatory evidence? Who was the target? Do you think more information? Okay, with wounds you saw, could you ever imagine females committing this crime? He says yes. Let's actually listen to this one because the way that he answers this is kind of crazy. Segue nomadic duckman's onto there with the wounds you saw. Could you ever imagine females committing this crime? So kind of that I would consider that would be additional public information.
Yeah, I would say both outstanding questions. Yes, I think a tremendous amount's going to come out because I think Dr. Turvey's going to talk about it. I don't know this to be the case, but I've been told that a major platform is doing a documentary based on law enforcement and officers involved in this thing. And
so just the way that he phrases that whole answer.
Mm-hmm. The way he phrases a lot of answers, you can tell he's got the Fed in him. Like he talks like one.
He absolutely talks like a Fed. You know who else talks like a Fed, in my opinion? Sometimes.
Who?
Steve G.
You know, he does. He does sometimes.
He says certain terms that I'm like, that just doesn't sound like. That just doesn't sound natural.
Yeah. He kind of stands like one too.
He kind of looks like one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like after you watch them for so long, like they have this certain way of walking or like standing really. It's not when they're walking, it's when they're like standing still.
Yes. There's another question too that might go into us trying to, or that could maybe lend some light. It shed some light. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Onto the question that you had said to try to find with who was hooking up. And the next question has to do with Ethan and Xana cheating. So I'll play that quick.
another thing that, you know, that's a big thing too. Kaylee came down. Everybody knows she wasn't there. She came down for the weekend and she was, by all accounts, including Dylan's date for the formal. They went to the formal for a very, very short period of time and left separately.
Is it true Ethan was cheating on Xana? You mentioned an Erica in the book.
That's a tough question because the records show that there was a lot going on in that house. I'll say that right now. But no, I can't say that Ethan was cheating on her or that she or anybody else was cheating on anybody else. No, I do not say that. But I do say college students in general, people at that stage in life in general, have a lot of different interactions. And that's just life. It doesn't mean anything bad. That's just life. So cheating, no, I don't say that.
So sassy sister slept. What does that sound like to you? Because he says not that he's like the way that he approaches it too. The reason that guess who LMA is asking that is probably the same reason any of us would ask that, is that there's text messages that you show in your book that say,
was this before the book came out though, right? Do you think maybe that's what he was referring to?
No.
Like
so
the messages?
What ended up happening too with Chris in these interviews, they got bumped up like 8 or 9 days because Barnes and Noble released it early. So they actually went live. Now, there were some people that couldn't get it if they had ordered it or pre-ordered it on Amazon. But if you had a Barnes and Noble account, you got it. So they just treated it like it was
I got mine the day it came out from Barnes and Noble. I didn't get mine early.
Oh, really? And he also, his manager also sent it to everybody that interviewed him. Like, I think it was 36, 48 hours, maybe 3 days before. So you could read it.
Right.
But at that point, people had already started kind of leaking it out online, and you
Yeah,
saw
like
the
the
table.
chapters were coming out online. Yeah, because I found the timeline before it came out.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it was 2 weeks early. I just saw a chat fly by about that the book came out 2 weeks early, or was leaked 2 weeks early. But that's crazy. So there does seem to be something too with this whole inner house hookups, because I'll actually ask you, is there anything that stands out with any of the victim's family that would make you question why they'd want to get in front of something with potential hookups in the house? Is there any quote?
Are you talking about like Stacy Chapin? Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why say that?
I don't know. I never thought anything about it. I mean, it struck me as weird at the time, but I didn't think too much about it until we got the book. Well, no, maybe it was the interview where they come out and said something about Peter and Santa. And that's when I was like, hold up.
It was the
It made
love
me
triangle
remember that.
comment. The love
I'm
triangle
wondering if
comment.
that's what she means, or like if she knew about the text messages and all that going on.
See, okay, that makes a lot of sense, but love triangle feels, well, maybe. Is that just a generational way to say that? There's a
It
love
might
triangle?
be. It might be. Because I think my mom says stuff like that too. Everything's a love triangle. It
Yeah.
could be.
That's reasonable. I will absolutely agree with that. That's reasonable that could be what was meant.
It could be.
Now, Amber, we have a couple of questions, and wow, happy in my flip-flops 3. Thank you for the massive super chat. You rock. $50 from Happy in my flip-flops 3 said, try to catch up these last few weeks. Great to see you here, Amber. Birdie and the Hive are the best. Just started following your channel, by the way. You're awesome. That's great. Thank you so much, Happy in my flip-flops. Gemini said, Birdie, Dylan took out Xana. It was her hair. She showed up the next day at the station with her hair in braids. That's why there's blood in her bed. Any comment on that, Amber? Or
I
the
thought I
hair in
saw
general?
something about this today too. Was there another video out where somebody was talking about her braids? I feel like I did see something about that.
I've heard about the braids, and I've heard about how it looks like her hair was showered. But wouldn't the hair that's found in Ethan's hand, wouldn't that be short? Did it rip maybe?
I kind of wonder if it's not Ethan's hair or Xana's hair. Like, I think it should be tested. We need to know that.
Yeah.
But didn't Ethan have like a major scalp injury?
Yeah. Did he like grab his head after getting hit?
Oh.
And was it like this?
Maybe. I mean, maybe if you're like hit, you know, and your hand automatically goes to like
it falls.
Yeah, and then it comes out in his hand. I mean, I don't
Maybe.
know. It should be tested, absolutely. But wait, is that the hair you said was dark blonde though?
Yeah, it was like a strawberry blonde or something that he
Oh,
described.
then that couldn't be Ethan or Xana's. They're both dark headed.
Right. And also too, I just feel like the way that it was brought up didn't seem like that.
Right.
You know, the tone around it.
Mhm.
Oh, not this name again. Enigmatically sane. Hopefully I said that right. Someone was jealous they couldn't be with Kaylee or couldn't beat her. Maddie was her dearest. No harm to Murphy. That he was clean. They knew him. Okay, I see you reacting to that. How do you respond?
I keep going back to this too about either couldn't be with Kaylee or couldn't be her, which is why I think my brain keeps looping back to that whole like, if not Jack D and Bethany, then Jack D and who? Because if someone, okay, let's just say someone not even a member of the house, but if someone had a major thing for like Jack D, and Jack clearly is very hung up on Kaylee. Kaylee is gorgeous. She's got her stuff together. She's got a good job. She's got a good car. She's got great friends. Kaylee had her life together. She was going to do great things. They wanted to be her. They want to, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's just I keep going back to that of like, what could cause that level of jealousy and rage in a person? Heartbreak, betrayal, jealousy.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It bothers me. The Jack D and like the possibility that somebody was that angry at Kaylee or that jealous of Kaylee, like what else could it be? Because Kaylee got so much of the brunt of that. Like that was deeply personal. Like somebody wanted to remove her face.
Yeah. That and that seems to be one thing that they've never strayed from as far as the narrative goes, and that is holding still. I mean, Xana fought. I think that that's become more prominent in the narrative now, is that she took a lot of damage and fought back, which makes me feel like she was possibly fighting a female.
Right.
I also think, to your point about we knew how Jack still felt about Kaylee and the DM that he got on Instagram about buying some of her nudes.
Mm-hmm.
I've said that don't count on a female doing that, hitting him up for it. I don't think that it would just be a guy to consider hitting up Jack as like a bro. I could see some girl doing that too. Like an extortion thing.
Trying to get like ammo on her or something, or
yeah, or if they knew that it, the like OnlyFans thing, or just in general. I just don't see a guy saying I had a huge crush on her.
Right.
And people have said that in here too.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I could see people like an extortion thing, like a blackmail thing from a jealous female. That's what made me say that there.
I could see that too, for sure.
There's some people that are saying. Oh, okay. Sorry, no, you're good. You're
good.
It's
okay. It's okay. Thoughts just run in and out of my brain sometimes.
No, the ADD squirrel brain.
It was something about Jack. I don't remember. Dang it.
Well, we knew how Jack still felt about Kaylee and whoever this was.
Oh, yeah, Jack's mental health. That's what I was going to say. About how he went to the count, or he got referred to like the student, whatever that is, like their care center, their therapist, their therapist, because he was having such a hard time. And he literally said he was having a hard time because he was struggling so much with the breakup. And
I'm not even going to hate on him for that. You know what I mean? Like if you got to talk to somebody, go for it.
Absolutely.
But it does shed light into the reality of his mindset on this.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. That's my thing about it too, because of course that's normal for him to feel that way. He should feel that way. He should be upset.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Whoops. Sorry. Hang on. I just accidentally clicked that down.
I saw a name. Connor.
Okay. It said the Beehive. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said, hello, everyone. Amber had some very interesting thoughts on Connor Chestnut, which I firmly believe has her opinion changed. Do you want to fill us in on can you fill us in on what that was? I don't know.
So, for a long time, I called Connor Chestnut Jack's mysterious bestie because I knew that Jack Showalter had a friend. I could see him in the documents, but I did not know his name. And even when I first started going through the documents on TikTok, we all just called him Jack's mysterious bestie because I knew he was important. Then you start, following it down and you're like, oh, there was a kiss between Maddie and Connor. You look a little deeper and you're like, oh, it was more than a kiss. They were absolutely still like doing something. Someone also recently brought up. So sorry, I'm jumping around.
No, go for it.
My ADD brain, y'all, is bad. That's why I make scripted videos so that I don't not talking everywhere.
No, you are completely, amongst your people from an ADD brain thing right now. So
yeah, because squirrel. Okay, I get super distracted. So bad. But Jack Showalter and Connor were like best friends from when they were young. And Jack Showalter didn't have a lot of friends because Jack Showalter was known to be like aggressive and fight people. And he had a short temper and all that. Well, Connor apparently is just as bad, even though Connor does seem to have more friends than Showalter.
I noticed that too. Can I just quickly interject about the Showalter thing? One of the things after listening to the interviews is that Jack Showalter, while yes, that seems to be everybody's opinion of him, I found that he was rather self-aware of that he was kind of kept to himself. He, watched football. He didn't really hang out with people. It was almost like he knew.
Right. And that's what we'll say about Showalter is that he would have to be an idiot to do anything to Kaylee and Maddie, knowing that he was one of the last people out with them, that he was on camera with them, that he left the bar with them. And we can call Jack Showalter a lot of things, but you can tell that man is not dumb. He's not an idiot at all. You can tell.
I don't think he was raised by idiots either.
No. He's very well spoken, and I do think harshly of him sometimes. He's very suspicious to me. But I think he might just be a suspicious person. You know, like
Yeah.
some people are just kind of like, you don't know about him at first till you really know him or like you're around him or whatever. He might just be one of those people. Connor, however, what bothers me the most about Connor is how quiet it is about Connor. Why could I see him before I could ever find him? And I knew that we were tracking like the beer cans had to do with Connor. I knew that there were all these blank spots that I'm like, this goes back to Jack's mysterious bestie. Then the documents, the leaked ones, the ones that they just dumped on us, the New Year special is what I call that, came out and it said Connor Chestnut's name with their handprints. And I was like, got him. But guess what? Got the name, did whatever. I still don't know nothing about him except what we have from the documents. Why? Why is Connor gone?
What do you think it could be?
I don't know. I don't know how people's names get wiped off the internet. I don't understand how, like, just a random name, Brent Kopacka, I could find a lot about, and then all of a sudden one day I could not.
So I might be able to shed a little bit of light on it. Not that this is anything earth shattering, but to have this more than just me looking this up, to actually have had somebody who was undercover inside the outlaw motorcycle gang, Scott Payne. He wrote a book. If you look behind me, see that, you can kind of see the book.
Yeah.
Called Pale Horse. So he was he was undercover in a neo-Nazi gang to the point where he was surrounded by plastic wrap in a basement of a bar with a pistol to his head naked.
Dang.
Because they thought he was wearing a wire. And he shed light onto two things that really have opened my eyes. And I know people in the Hive have heard this. Maybe they're sick of me saying this, but I still think that this is something that really, it lends credibility to the fringe, quote unquote, conspiracy theories, which is that you heard it from a guy who did it. And one thing that he said was any murder for hire hit, okay, if they could get in front of it, they are allowed to stage a violent event. Meaning if a dude put out a hit on his wife, and he explained this, they went to the wife, they said, this is your one chance to play ball. We're going to take some pictures. We're going to make it look real. And then their person that is, the middleman of this hit, the hitman, they go to meet up to get paid and they arrest him after sending the confirmation photos of the wife actually being dead when she's not. She's just being put into protective custody, but they have to show the full intent to go through with this. So that was interesting to me.
So he was saying his motorcycle club, or the motorcycle club he was like infiltrating, did that.
Oh, he was second from the top at one point. He was in.
And this was
his
the
book's
Outlaws?
incredible. Yeah,
That's
it's the Outlaws. He has an episode on Joe Rogan as well, and then he was doing like a book tour, and yeah, he popped out of the Hive, which was great. It was awesome. He also said too about going undercover. So undercover, he was still named Scott, which is his first name. They give you very similar names when you go undercover so that you react naturally. The last name they changed. In the gang that he was in, they practice Odinism a lot, which is a lot of what neo-Nazi groups will practice. And he talks about how they sacrificed goats and animal sacrifices and drank goat's blood. And where I was going with that is I said, dude, do you ever get worried that somebody's going to find out who you are? And he kind of scoffed in a way of like just exuding confidence in the FBI that it goes way deeper than scrubbing you off Google. So the ability to disappear off the internet, whether and let me just clarify too. I'm not saying that they're only going to be able to scrub people that are undercover. I'm just saying that
they have the capability of it. Yeah. I've wondered that because there's been several people over time that I'll look something up and I can find all this like personal information. And then the next time I go to pull it up, it's gone. And I'm like, that happened to me with Brent Kopacka, which is still really frustrating because why didn't I save all of that?
Oh, dude, this case has made, I screenshot everything.
Everything. I've got two external hard drives now because I'm never doing that again.
Yes. And if you Google Idaho 4, actually, if you Google anything without Idaho 4 attached to it, it brings up the most random search results. The news articles are slowly going down. Brian Koberger, there's only like 4 or 5 various photos of him in a jumpsuit or in a suit with Ann Taylor. Like they've gotten rid of everything. They're slowly deleting this. And
They are. I've noticed that too, because I could not find a certain news article, and it was everywhere for a while. And it said something about that Facebook post that was going around for a while, claiming that the victims were bound and gagged or whatever.
Oh,
And
Dylan's.
the authorities kept coming out and being like, the authorities say that's not true. But I could not find the article anymore. And I was like, I used to find this thing everywhere. I couldn't find it when I wanted to use it to like put it behind me for something. And I was like, where are these going?
Well, the whole bound and gagged thing is very odd. And it's because we saw that post from Dylan, allegedly, whether it's real or not.
Allegedly.
But right, allegedly. And then Steve G was chirping Judge Hippler and says, I hate the word gag order, seeming how some of the victims were bound and gagged.
Yes. That it blows my mind. And the Dylan post really bothers me because that is something I received a lot of backlash on, which I do kind of get it. Because even with the documents we come out, which, you know, I don't know if you saw where I was like matching the usernames and whatnot. And I was like, this had to come from Dylan's account. It had to.
I did not see that, but I wish I did. So just can you describe it?
I think it was, yeah, well, there was like some of the unredacted documents we got were some about like the warrants for Facebook and Instagram and all of that. Well, there was one about Olivia, Kaylee's sister, sending a screenshot of a post from Dylan to the police. And it had Dylan's like signifier or whatever, her like username. And then it had these numbers. And you could like match up the numbers across these various documents. And I was like, this is Dylan's account. The account that they're saying this screenshot came from is the same account they got the warrant for. This is Dylan's account. And
That's crazy.
There was a lot of people pushing back on that, which I do get because the post doesn't make any dang sense at all. None. Like none of the facts are right. Like I think it said something on there about how they lived on the 3rd floor. No, they didn't. Dylan and Bethany were not on the 3rd floor. Like just stupid things. So I'm like, yeah, it doesn't seem like it would come from her, but we know that there was a post and we know that it was going everywhere to the point that the cops kept putting it into news articles that this isn't true. So if Dylan made a different post that said something different, where is it?
Well, that's exactly it. Where is the original one then? If somebody spun it, it's like, how did you see the scrubbed Reddit post? This is very similar, but the scrubbed Reddit post about how it was very clearly explained how the 911 call for an unconscious person could have originated. Have you seen this? Okay. So Sammy T Mafia and I went over a bunch of scrubbed posts that you can't really ever find. Like I'll use Yandex. You talked about finding articles or anybody, just so you're aware, you could use Yandex. It's a Russian search engine. You don't need anything crazy. It's like Google. Just make sure you change the language. It's Yandex. You'll find all of them. It's outside the US and it's great. And so we went down the rabbit hole on that. And we also went down the rabbit hole on the DOJ Jeffrey Epstein file library. And Brian Koberger is in there 13 times, which is crazy.
In the Epstein?
Yes, and he's in the FBI news briefing emails. So it goes to all the FBI and the articles that they pick, and we're going to do a stream on this hopefully in the next week or so, maybe 2 weeks. It's taking a lot of prep work because the articles that they reference are like the only article that gave doubt to what was happening in the rest of the news. Meaning, if they all were headhunting for him, there was an article that they posted that was like, leaks could, cause problem for state. Like it was very interesting, and it's hard to describe without the visuals, but I could send you some of the screenshots of that as well. And but here's the post about, and this is from here we go. I'll play this. This makes so much damn sense. There's a document that can corroborate it. We see it on video. Okay. This makes so much damn sense. There's a document that can corroborate it. We see it on video, and then we can listen to the 911 call for an unconscious person. This case is so messed up. The cops are literally releasing statements today that contradict their earlier statements. So today they said they don't know who called 911, and the bodies were all found in bed. But a few days ago, they said that one of the girls made it outside and bled to death on the front yard. Then a neighbor was walking their dog the next morning and found the body, but thought it was just an unconscious partier. So they called 911. And that's why it was for somebody unconscious. So why are we today getting a completely different story that the bodies were all in bed and they don't know who called 911? I would believe this more than I would believe the official story.
Oh
Right?
my God.
Here's another one from the 20th of November in 2022. It said, I don't know what their source was. It was a thread about 24 hours ago. Supposedly, it was some morning passerby. It was talking about how the story changed from that to the 911 call came from inside the house suddenly and mysteriously. And the original story of the 911 call of the passerby was scrubbed. So I play that because I want to get your thoughts on just in general with the post. He's brought up Dylan's. You bring up Dylan's, we could reference that one. How does somebody make that up? You could say it's Fed posting, but a lot of that.
I don't know. A lot of those early was that from 4chan?
Yeah, that was like
a lot of the early 4chan posts were spitting facts. How did they know that?
That's what I mean. And how do you even if you were making that up completely, look at all those things that you can corroborate. Like I said, there's document, there's the video. The 911 call was for an unconscious person. The only part missing from the mainstream narrative is exactly what you would expect to be missing. And that's that somebody made it outside and was dead outside, bleeding to death.
Based on the audio, what we can hear, I really think they were outside. I think whatever happened started outside. It was way too clear.
I'm going to do a poll for that. Do you believe that this at one point was occurring outside? And I'm going to do a poll quick. So Amber, you would vote yes for this?
For sure.
Okay. I would too. So if you are in the chat right now and you want to vote, all you got to do is go to your keypad, type a 1 for yes, type a 2 for no. The question is, do you believe that this at one point was occurring outside? And I think that these polls, like this poll tool, Amber, I've said it's nice to get a gauge of the chat, but to the power of the collective mind and what they think of a situation. And if you're watching this and you think the opposite of a question, it's probably going to make you think. For example, yesterday I said, I know that this poll question is going to make NPCs' heads start to explode. And I was like, you could just hear them popping all over the place right now. It's like pop, 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 pop. Because I said, does anybody think that Brian Koberger might not actually be in prison? Dude, it was 60-40. No.
Wait, did they think he might not be there?
Yeah. And there was like almost 1,900 people in here.
I have heard that. I don't know if there's any truth to it. I don't know how to even go about trying to find out if there's any truth to it. But I have heard that too.
So we have 94% of people saying, yes, it was outside.
Yeah.
But see what I mean? Like if you see something like that, like this is smart. People who are looking at this case that are awake to it, it's like a slow process. If you at one point probably thought like similar to yourself and like many people have, and then it's just like, I can't get off this on-ramp. No. This is the craziest shit I've ever seen.
Yep. I had to see it for myself. I don't think, and to be fair, for all the people that like still struggle to believe it, I mean, I get that, because I feel like if I would not have done it myself and gone through all the documents and reached my own conclusions, I would have been like, a lot of this sounds so far-fetched, right. Ain't no way. Y'all are reaching somewhere. I don't know where it's coming from. But no, when you see it with your own eyes, you're like, wait a minute.
I can't stand, and I've crashed out about this, where people are like, that's a stretch. That's like, right. I can't stand that. It or that's a reach or reach. Right. Like somebody called me Stretch Armstrong. And I'm like, see, now you're just being mean. Like it's too creative and it's too funny. And yes, it's like, oh, that's too good. Like I have to steal that now whenever I'm gonna say that.
Whenever you're gonna stretch.
Yes. Yeah. Do you have?
I get that a lot too. It's one of their favorite arguments.
Yeah, that's a stretch. Do you have a question that you would like to pull in the chat? Do you have one off the top of your head that you've always wondered and you'd like to see how people would answer?
I'm full of questions. Let me think about it. Wait, it has to be a yes or no, huh?
Nope, I can have up to 4 answers.
Okay. I want to know, who does everybody think your prime suspect is? Just yours, in your opinion.
Okay, so who is your prime suspect? And I'll put all alleged.
All alleged, not accusatory, just in your opinion. So, we know who to look into a little deeper here.
Yeah,
Who
and
y'all think are the most suspicious?
what 4 options would you like me to put?
Ooh. Jack D,
Okay.
Jack S, Connor Chestnut.
Okay. And
Other.
No.
I don't know. Because
Okay,
I don't
other.
even know another one.
Okay.
Those are the 3 that are the most sketchy to me right now. Obviously, CG probably would have been a good one, but I don't know much about him yet.
Okay, I will. I'm just going to leave those 3 and other. Before I press start, do you have a prediction?
I think most people are going to say Jack D.
Okay, let's see. And it's going right now. When the chat flies like this, sometimes it doesn't read it. So if I stop
somebody
it,
said Dylan. I didn't even think about Dylan. That was a good one. Other.
other is the only one right now, but it's probably just delayed because if you were to look at the chat right now, it's flying.
It is. I keep trying to look at it now and then I get super distracted by it. So I haven't been looking at it.
Yes.
Because I want to read what everyone is saying.
Yeah. Do you read the majority of, when I say like not the comments, because obviously we all see the comments, but do you ever get like long thought out theories? It's some of my favorite things to read from people.
Love them. I love them. I love really insightful, like, even if they're short, if people put like, I can tell if you put a lot of thought into what you're saying. And I love that like meeting of minds of like, hey, I thought of something you might not have thought about. Like, I love that. I love hearing other people's opinions.
I don't always have time to get through all of them, but I showed one on the stream the other day about how somebody was saying like every single person, and they kind of went down this operational route of them being protected and that this was actually a foiled plot of a hit. And I said it's not going to be for everybody, but I reminded people, I'm like, is it terrible if they're actually dead to say this? Yes, but if it did happen, it would be the best case scenario because nobody died and they wrapped up 27 people, maybe with millions of drugs and guns.
Right.
So,
I wish that was true. I don't think it. I think they are gone.
Well, yeah, and and I don't necessarily. I could believe both sides. I think to your point, it's more of it's the argument. Like, can you think
the argument's
something?
fair? I do think the argument is fair.
So
because
we have
a lot of crazy stuff has happened.
Oh yeah. So other is actually the
Because
number
Dylan,
one.
somebody said Dylan, and I was like, I didn't even think to put her on there. That was a good one.
Dylan or Inan.
Somebody said Enan Harsh. That was an original one. I like that one.
Yes. So let's read these up. So we had other coming in first, Jack D second, Jack S and Cotter pretty much tied.
Man, that was a good one too.
Crazy.
Sorry, I'm up in the comments right now.
No, you're good.
Reading
You're good.
people's names.
I'm going to go through the questions that we have for us now. And so Laylee Luz says, hi, Birdie and Queen Amber. Question, can't we get Candace Owens to get interview with Brian Koberger? Australian here. We believe Brian Koberger is the scapegoat. Well, I love the Hive Down Under. And shout out to Australia, the UK. There's a ton of people that tune in from outside the States. And I think it's great that somehow
I love that. I think that is so cool.
It's so cool. And so getting somebody who, can swing a big stick at this, I think is going to happen eventually. I do.
Yeah. I mean, I hope my girl Candace can. Okay. I like Candace Owens a lot. I think she's got a very probing mind, a very inquisitive nature.
I also think that it would take somebody who has reported the way that they have to do this case. Does that make sense? Like, you need somebody who can take all of the hits and the criticism for saying a lot of the stuff that most people are thinking, or that maybe everyday normies don't even know that they could happen. I mean, we've seen it play out recently with the Charlie Kirk situation, but that's not just the only story she's done that for too. I also want to preface that.
So much. She's brave. Like I like her a lot. I know a lot of people have complaints about her, but I like Candace.
Sammy said, interesting the amount of injuries to Kaylee's mouth. I feel like she said something, maybe not in gossip way, but maybe even to fuel a jealous fire. Ooh.
I think that's fair.
Some of these comments too, like this one particularly with Sammy, they shed light into the human factor of a situation, right? Like, you really can go there mentally. Like, if you're being held down, you say something that's just like, fuck you, whatever.
And yeah, that's a good point because I feel like I would. Like,
Yeah.
the last thing out my mouth is not going to be begging. I promise you that.
Right. D-Dog Wifey, thank you for the super chat. Said, I spent hours in the autopsy reports last night. Kaylee had a J-shaped incision on her forehead. What?
Yeah. Yes, she did. Man, them autopsies, that's painful. You know, that first page where they said that they suffered and I like burst into tears and I was like, but yes, the J-shaped. Yep.
Wow, they all had head wounds. Putting it all together, some defensive wounds on all of them too. It said it literally said J-shaped.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what it said.
Oh my God, dude.
Yes.
There's so many names that start with a J. I can't be the only
There's so many
person where my
Jacks.
brain. Yeah, there's so many Jacks, but I'm like,
Oh.
you hear J-shape and you're like, again, that's just weird. That's just such a either the craziest coincidence amongst 900 other of the craziest coincidences in this case, or
Yes. And in the
Wow.
autopsies too, like the other girl was saying, she did like they had bruises, like the pattern bruises around Kaylee. Like there was a specific focus on Kaylee's mouth. And
like
yeah,
gagged.
there was something else about a J shape, or maybe it wasn't the J shape. Maybe it was the ear. There was something, another weird cut on, maybe it was Xana and Ethan had like the same over the ear cut. There was something else weird about a head injury.
I found it strange that Ethan had both the subclavian vein and artery and jugular vein
Yes.
slashed. And I had said if there was anybody who's, EMS, nurse, maybe ex-military, just in a random stabbing attack, what are the odds that you get all three? And there was a
Right.
lot of people that are like, there's no way. There's no way.
No. And if you line up like the fatal injuries or whatever across all four, like not always in the same room, but they all have matching fatal injuries to like their liver or their left lung or I'm just throwing those out there. I don't quite remember.
They're all kill shots.
But they're all
really.
the kill shots. But I'm like, could you imagine, like if you're just fighting, we know Xana was fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know where to aim exactly? Like you have to have a good working anatomy knowledge.
Yeah, you have to be trained.
Yeah, you gotta be like an assassin for real.
Well, and yeah. Or you got to be around people that know and they've taught you.
Or like
right?
a doctor or
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. I also thought too, like, people that box, people that fight, like you will try to punch their liver, right? It could
That's
take
true.
you out
Mhm.
in a boxing match. That's a good
BK
point.
was into boxing, I think. That
Oh
was, like,
God.
one of
Now
those
see, now
weird
someone's
things.
gonna take it and run with it. It's like he's going back to his boxing days, and that's why they
No,
had
but I
liver.
think he didn't really like it though. Like I think that's just like what he was doing to lose weight or something. Like it was something weird
Like
because he didn't
cardio?
like to work out.
Cardio.
Yeah, it was like something about maybe that's just what the guy that like owned the gym. I don't really remember.
My
I'm
mom
sure
used
wherever
to
I read that, I have saved somewhere.
My mom used to do this 9 rounds kickboxing class. You ever heard of that? It's like it's like a boutique style gym. I think it was a franchise. And she was like, I get a guest pass. And I was home from college and I played football in college. And so I was like, I'll go with you. I want to see what this is all about. Dude, it was hard.
Yeah.
Like those ladies, the middle-aged women in there were kicking some ass. It was
Yeah. Have you ever sat in on a women's Pilates class? They are not playing in there.
no, but I had to get up and walk out of like hot yoga even a couple times. Like it's so strange. It's like when you think you're in shape and you think that you can do all this, it's like, no, you're really just kind of like weight room,
Right.
like lifts strong. That's about it.
Mhm.
April 25 said, do either of you find it super sus like me that
Yes.
Loach is never mentioned? I find that
Yep.
very sus.
Yep. The only way I know anything about him is because of the 4chan posts.
Yes.
But
Because
like it is known though that him and Ethan had that like for real beef.
have you seen his name anywhere else, really?
No.
I'm trying to think.
I do feel like there was something, but it might just be people talking that I'm remembering.
Okay.
But something about the Sigma Chi party. It was that girl.
In an
A
interview?
girl that came out and did an interview, I think who claimed to be from the 1112 house. Do you know the one I'm talking about? Where she came up with the whole story about somebody inside her house was screaming.
Not off the top of my head. I can't remember it.
Oh, it was like somebody had her.
Is
was
it
on-
like so it's not a FOIA. You're saying it's like
No, it was like somebody called in on, and I can't even remember the girl's name that did the
Dot?
live.
Dot?
No.
Oh.
It was, dang it, I don't remember the channel name, but it was a girl that like said she was going to call in. She didn't actually call in. So the podcaster or the creator ended up just talking and saying what the girl was going to say. It was all BS to me. I don't think any of it was real. But she said something about the Sigma Chi party and about how there was some type of small altercation, but it was just like egos, a clash of egos. And I think she said something along the lines of it was somebody that Ethan had clashed with like that before. She didn't come out and say, how do you even say that? Loach or Loke? Or
Yeah,
Loch?
Loach. Loach is how I've
Loach.
heard it pronounced.
Yeah. I don't know if like I thought of him. I thought maybe that's who she was talking about, but I don't think she said his name.
You'll have to, if you ever find that, send me that.
I will. I will. Because I remember going and I think I saved it. So I'll send it to you.
Chelsea 1992 said, remember the quote double dipping audio? I think Kaylee and Quinn hooked up or got close to it. Jack and Dylan found out. Then Jack, Dylan, and Quinn attacked the girls. Just my theory. I actually said this leading up to the stream tonight. I said, I know you know the social circle and the social dynamic better than I do. And so I was excited to hear some of these questions, not necessarily this specific theory, but, you know, as I explained to you on the phone, you know, really what got me into this is the narrative warfare on it. And I do think that people like yourself and many in here in the chat have put a ton of time into the peripheral players and their own dynamics. It's tough to do, to track all that down.
It is. It's time consuming. I felt like even that's why I kind of waited further into my little Idaho 4 series that I have on my channel, which is like me tackling one part of the case at a time. I waited till like I don't even know what to get into the social circle because I'm like, good Lord, this is going to eat up so much time. And it does. But I do think like it's very, very revealing. Because just like the Connor Chestnut thing, I feel like that opened up like doors to other thoughts that I wouldn't have ever realized if I never put together that Maddie was secretly seeing somebody.
Yeah. Well, and were you the first person to really come out and say that where you broke it down? I feel like you were. Not that being
someone
first
could have done it
always
before
matters.
me, but I had never heard anybody else do it. But somebody could have done it before me.
And I heard that from you, and also your series that you did on the Jacks was awesome. That was
I had a lot to work with.
You also, not to just like sit up here and just give you all these flowers, but seriously, you did great work too on figuring out the redacted names.
Thank you so much.
That probably took a ton of time.
Yeah, well, it really was. It got where like I was just staring at the paper so long that it got where my brain was filling it in like automatically. I didn't have to think about it anymore because I was like, oh yeah, I remember this space from over there and over there and over there.
Just by the size of the square.
Yeah, just by the size of it and context around it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think there was only one space that I actually messed up on that ended up not being
on a name.
Yeah, and it wasn't a name. I thought it was going to say that Mason Barstow went to 1122 pregame party.
Oh.
But he called it the AFI pregame party. So it was the little space that messed me up.
Oh, I got you. I feel like that's reasonable.
Exactly 4 spaces.
Les Awake said Amber is the fresh air we needed to help solve this. And I agree.
Aww,
and
you.
Les, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I always think it's cool when, you know, you and I have talked for 30 minutes only before this. And it's really cool that this case has, you know, brought people together in thinking out loud and trying to theorize for justice and honestly for good. I've seen such little nefariousness on people who they don't believe it's Brian Koberger. Not say that people aren't chirping and leaving stupid comments. There's always going to be people do that in our videos too, but that's the way of the internet. I think that the overwhelming majority of people, their heart's in a good place.
Oh, I agree 100%. I feel like the people that I've seen more hatefulness come out of people that are convinced the case is closed.
Oh,
than I have out of anybody that is like, something might be wrong, guys.
So 100% guilty. End of story. Move on, you grifter is my
right.
favorite.
Or the like there was one guy going up and down my comments and he got so creative with the insults. I was like, good Lord.
There's some.
Like
There's
that
some-
is so far fetched, but also A plus for creativity because I'd had never thought to call anybody that.
right.
Like people
the,
get so angry.
like the Stretch Armstrong thing, or
Right.
there's things that I've screenshot. I've sent to my wife, and I'm like, "This isn't true, babe, is it?" She's like, "No, honey, it's not."
I read them to my husband too, and he's just like,
Yeah. um, Gemini said Dylan went after Xana. This is again all alleged. I read the disclaimer just to refer back to that in the beginning of the stream. Dylan went after Xana, and someone tried to pull her off of Xana by the hair, but they never tested against hers. They went sideways, hence the female. And I want to segue onto that. I had asked you when you started reading the grand jury snippets from Dylan, it's like, is this chick on drugs? I mean, is there a defense to that legally if you got dosed with drugs that you didn't know were drugs? Like if you were drugged and then you had some sort of psychotic episode?
I don't know.
Just generally. I'm not even saying that it could happen. I don't know if there's a legal defense. Somebody might know.
We should ask a lawyer that. I feel like that's a good question. Because I do wonder about like the possibility of just a really bad trip of like, and I mean, I don't know because I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
It's because it's so strange in general, but it's so strange that it makes no sense. You can't connect any of it.
Right. That's my problem with this case in general of like the things that seem to stand alone. Like you'll get a whole line of things and you're like, okay, starting to line up. And then you're like, well, that goes nowhere. Doesn't fit into anything else.
When you said, so when we get done, like this weekend in general, I have so much to go through, but tonight, that grand jury snippet, I cannot wait to read that because I was shocked when you said what you've come to the conclusion to is that there was no intruder or there was two.
No. And really it was the one that with Dylan and that Aaron lady that when she's talking about her dreams and whatnot, that I was like, the way she's talking, it's either not true at all, none of it's true, or it's all true. That's the only two things I can come up with. It makes no sense. The way she keeps talking about this person with the high knees, running with the high knees, and this woman, the woman with the big nose. It takes me back to like what you said earlier about Xana fighting a woman, about something either Brent Turby or Chris Whitcomb said about the hair possibly being female hair. And I'm like, yep, one of two things. Either there was nobody there or there was a man and a woman there.
You could tie that theory into so many of the oddities too, right? I'll also add in Chris Whitcomb when he asked, does he think a female could do it? He said, he's been around the world in his adult life. He's been in a lot of wars. He said at times the females have been more vicious.
Oh, girls are terrible. Like girls are vicious.
The other part too is that's okay. I'm here to help you. I have said since like for a long time that I've always had this suspicion that it was the male killer saying that to the female killer, and that the crying was actually the female killer that Dylan heard.
See, I've always kind of suspected "It's okay, I'm here to help you" was the Vampire Diaries,
or that too. I mean,
played on the TV. Like that's, and that's another thing that was in that document that Dylan kept talking about is about how silent it was. She heard Kaylee running down the stairs, and she heard Murphy barking a little bit. She said. When she got down to Bethany's room, she also clarified when she got down to Bethany's room, she couldn't hear Murphy barking anymore. Girl, please. Murphy was barking until almost 5 a.m.
You know, what'd be interesting to do, Amber, is so the grand jury, we don't know much of what was said. The only real insight we have is like these snippets. And then we also have Steve G's text that he said, he's like, they created more questions and answers. It would be very interesting if you could piece together, even just with some of the snippets, if it was so all over, could some of the narrative cover up come from, we can't go public with this. Like we have to try to wrap this into something that is emotionally palatable for people. Nobody is going to listen to these answers of somebody doing high knees with a big nose and not knowing if they're dreaming or not. No, they're going to look at us like we are crazy.
I mean, there's Star Witness sat up there on the stand and was like, I don't know if I was dreaming. She even said that she was pretty sure her second dream, that her first dream was of the lady, the woman with the big nose and the black, wearing all black. Her second dream was when she was in her room and she opened the door. Excuse me? That was part of your dream? Like, how did that make it into a probable cause affidavit then?
That's what I'm saying. Did they?
It's insane.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around how many people like went along with it and was like, this looks right.
It could also explain, Amber, why everybody says the same thing. And that's maybe because in part, this interview was looked at and it was then pushed out to say, this is the story. And everybody was communicated that version of it. So that's why everybody says what they do.
I do. It sounds scripted to me. You know what I mean? Like, think about Dylan and her 4 a.m., pretty much at 4 a.m. At like 4 a.m., everyone she talked to, the police, Emily, literally everyone. She's like, at 4 a.m. The girl don't know if she was dreaming, don't know her head from her butt, but she knows this happened at exactly 4 a.m. And she starts every sentence that way. It's given scripted. You know what I mean? It's given coached.
And all of the people, when they're canvassing, they were in bed early. And they woke up a little bit later, but they never heard anything.
Nothing. Dead silence. If you ask Dylan, she said it was completely silent. After the voice, she heard nothing ever.
That's so wild.
She even specified there was no screaming.
No screaming.
Yeah, she's like, at any point, never, ever, ever.
I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, it's a good one. Like,
oh man,
I think that overrode my like interest in the autopsy. Actually, once I started flipping through that one, I was like, "Ooh, this is the one I want."
Yeah.
Autopsy just made me sad.
I think my brain's going to be the same way. And Custody Queen Kristen, shout out to the Custody Queens plus Ron. Always great to see you all in the chat. Thank you so much for the super chat.
I love the Custody Queens.
They're awesome. Hottie JG DKK. What is that? Is that Denmark currency? DKK? Would they use the euro though? I don't know. Do you know?
I have no clue.
Oh, anyways, love this live.
It's so cool though. I was just looking at like the flag. Like, what do they have on their flag? I get super distracted. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're good. Love this live. About the crazy love triangle, what word would you use for 3 people having sex? That wouldn't be cheating and fits with Chris's answer. I'm from Denmark, so not good at English. Oh, you did great, Hottie JG.
Yeah.
And
wouldn't that just be a threesome?
Threesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or I don't know. If
I can't think of another word for
3
that.
people. No, which I am curious now too. Where is everybody tuned in from this evening? Type your country's flag into the chat if you could find it on the emojis.
I love places.
Have you ever been outside the country?
Only to Mexico.
Mexico?
Yeah, I went to Cancun on my honeymoon a bunch of years ago, back when I was 19 years old.
Nice.
Yep. Because I could drink in Mexico, could not drink here. So that's where we went.
I have a funny story about that. As people are typing these in, I want to see where all these are from. We went to Mexico too when I was like 18, so I could drink. My brother was, or maybe I was 19. My brother was 16. My little sister is 7 years younger than me, right? So I would go and get these drinks, and my brother was like, "Can I have your wristband?" I'm like, "Only if you chug these 2 Long Islands." Like, I specifically remember this, right? We end up finding him, door closed to the hotel room, and there's a shit ton of room service outside cold.
Oh my God.
He ordered it, never got up. And then my little sister, my mom was ordering virgin like margaritas or virgin daiquiris for her. And at one point, my mom's like, "I'm not feeling like any buzz." And we look at my sister, she's like rolling in the waves right now. Like,
I would have died. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
There's a ton of different flags.
The mocktails look just the same.
Right. And I'm sure it's reasonable to forget if you're a server and you're walking over there.
Easy.
Oh man.
So many different people, so many different places. That's so cool, guys.
It's awesome. It is awesome. And I think it was cool too, Amber, just to kind of pat ourselves in the Hive here on the back. I was said, don't be distracted by the comments, but don't be surprised if we put a lot of comments up on the screen. Like it's kind of a third person in the conversation. And you were like, oh, I think that's great. I think it's just such a fun approach.
I love it. But my only problem is I get so distracted by it because I want to read everything everyone is saying because I'm so nosy. So nosy.
You'll be able to watch the replay, and I have the comments turned on, and I have them on the screen here too.
That's what I'll be doing, going back like, what everybody saying?
Tam Cam 777 said Brian Koberger's in the Epstein briefing. So what if it's all set up to catch the real perps? Brian Koberger in there. Goncalves is playing the role to throw the perps off. Yeah,
I thought about that before.
It also could explain the 68 terabytes, and it could also explain how people have floated the idea out there that the Christchurch and Doug Wilson and a lot of powerful connections to people in DC currently. And you look at, so do you remember when Donald Trump commented on this case specifically? Yes. I think it was around Brian Koberger, what he should be having to talk.
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
I have tried to go look at just what was going on in the world. Right. And the first time there was a big border crackdown when this was all going on with Brian Koberger. And then the other time it was when we were like shooting the boats in the ocean was when, so I like, it just, the plea deal, right. And all that stuff. It seems like there was like massive events going on. And what I'm really getting at is it's like, there's something always very convenient to eat up the news cycle when they don't want some major event staying in the news cycle.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But did you say that y'all looked at the Epstein briefing? Because I'm also curious about, I got a big chip on my shoulder about the Epstein stuff. And I've got an upcoming series on TikTok where I'm going to be ripping some old rings, a new one. But yeah, I don't.
Yeah, check this out.
I get worked up about this. So what do they say about Koberger in there?
So they're all these press briefings. Mm-hmm. So like if I go to here, I'm just going to click on a random one. So check this out. It's the FBI news briefings. Okay. Which is very strange. So as you scroll through, this is what gets sent out to all of the people at the FBI that, as far as if you're going to talk to a reporter, maybe, or maybe, hey, here are our talking points to put out into the media, because it's their FBI daily news briefing. So this is July 26, 2023. I just clicked on a random one, and it goes through the counterterrorism, counterintelligence. All of these look the same, but then you get to the criminal investigations, and it's very interesting when you get to Brian Koberger defense hits at. Remember how I said it's always something that provides doubt? And Brian Koberger defense hints at alibi and Idaho murders as deadline passes. They're all worded in a way that provides some sort of like, okay, that's different than the majority of the media.
That is odd.
So, and that's when I say he's in there, quote unquote, a bunch. It's just, there's a ton that he's in these briefings for.
That is notable though.
It is notable because there's a pattern. There's a pattern to them.
There is a pattern.
Yes. And so, yeah, if you just type in Brian Koberger, if anybody wants to go do that, you'll see that same data set pop up, and then you can look up the actual articles. Now, some have been scrubbed because they don't provide the actual link. They just provide the headline.
Oh, okay. So can't even really like Wayback Machine it.
Yeah. But like most of them are there, especially on Yandex.
Yeah.
So that's moving on. Yeah, it's super interesting. I'm curious to see your series that you do on that too.
Yeah, because I've been on one about it, but it hurts. I can only do it in tiny little increments because I get distressed.
And I just saw a comment of somebody say this too. It's like, maybe he really is undercover. Okay, let's address this, Amber, because it's hard for me to keep in at times.
Right?
Everybody wanted to use Brian Koberger's education against him, meaning criminology. He wants to see what it's like. He's doing these studies. Even if you were to just stop at the argument of this is what probably tens of thousands of other criminology students would be studying, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at the life choices, as you brought up, is it more likely statistically that Brian Koberger would at one point or another snap and do this and then have all of the other snowball effects of all of the redactions, all of the weirdness with this case, all of the oddities, all of the headlines, all of the audio, all of the video, all of the court documents, the autopsy file, nothing makes sense? Or is it more likely that maybe at some point he ended up working for people that would want to catch criminals?
I mean, it's not far-fetched. It's not. No, I mean, when we line up all the things that we're like seriously having to consider at this point because of how ridiculous this case is, it's not far-fetched. Especially when you look at, did Brian Koberger not at some point, and I'm trying to remember exactly where I read this, but was he not wanting to get like some type of federal internship or like to get in with the FBI? Wasn't that like his goal?
So the only ones that I've heard of was that he went for I think he wanted to both of the ones that I've heard of have been just police department stuff.
I think maybe he was talking about, maybe it was in that book, which means we can't really trust it. Not the Broken Plea book, the other one, the like.
Is it it's the James Patterson book?
James Patterson. It might have been in that one. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might have to dig back through my stuff if I can find it and it's not in the book. I'll send it to you, but I think it was something.
I'm curious to see what it is. Lindsay Whips 4494 said prior noise complaints, but that night no one heard.
Man, I swear. And it's crazy. Like you can hear in the noise complaint thing, they're like, y'all know that we can hear y'all down the street. What do they call it? Like it's like a fishbowl. It collects sound or whatever they said.
Fishbowl, and it's so small out there. Like
and the house is kind of set up on its own little hill because it's like real hilly over there. It's like gonna carry.
It's like a natural amphitheater.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lindsay Whips, for the super chat. I agree. I can't believe nobody heard anything. And Natasha Hill said Ethan's brother is sus, y'all.
I don't want to admit that, but probably. The SUV, the dark SUV in Chris Whitcomb's book.
He also says that
it had me reevaluating things. I was like, nope, he's fine. They're fine. They're fine.
It doesn't necessarily mean though that like when I see this and Ethan's brother is sus, y'all, I want to clarify too, because I agree it's sus. It doesn't mean that they killed him though.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's just they're not. They're giving off some sus vibes.
Yeah, they're like they're hiding something or like something's not. That's kind of like Jack Showalter or any Connor Chestnut, anybody else. We can all day long be like, they're acting weird. That's suspicious. It does not mean we're accusing them of committing the crime. But I do agree with this comment because it was after the dark SUV thing where I went back and tried to find the SUV that Chris Whitcomb was talking about.
Right.
That I was like, the dark SUV he talks about that that parks at the King Road house or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The part in Broken Plea where he talks about that dark SUV or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he can't leave. So it's either got to be at the King Road house or it's got to go up to the parking lot above the King Road house.
Have you seen, because I've only done like one or two streams on it, and this is taking me so much longer than I thought it would, but we had got the public records request for the Moscow PD practice runs that they did reenacting all the movements of the vehicles.
Yes.
Did you
I've
see
been
how
wanting to go back and watch that? I watched a very short part when you like on your actual like live, I think that you did on it. And then I was like, oh, I got to go because something happened and I've been meaning to circle back to it. What was your conclusions off of that?
So my conclusions off of that was, I don't know why they would go out there and just do random stuff. Right. But I've seen on Linda Lane dumpster cam. We know the video, the audio, it's poor. It's bad. It's blurry. We don't know if it's a still shot or not. One of the biggest eye openers that I found was that when Eric Gower pulls in as checkered flannel shirt guy is on the 1112 porch, if you could picture that, and Eric Gower pulls in, he stops, and it looks like they're talking. Eric Gower backs way up. Okay. And he sits there. Well, when I line up the MPD test footage, which by the way, I believe that they're working off of the minutes because the minutes are spot on, not the hours. When you line up the test footage, the car or when Eric Gower's car is stopped in reverse, it is paused for the perfect amount of time for two other cars to pull in because MPD shows 3. And so I go, did they just like pause the screen of a still shot of Eric Gower backed up and 2 cars because it is down to the millisecond, Amber? Maybe that's worth trying to pull up quick.
I'm gonna definitely go back because I wanted to watch it so bad that day. I don't remember what happened. I was so frustrated when I had to click out of it.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be able to find it quick. I don't want to distract it too much, but yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna go back
crazy.
and watch that because there's everything about that footage and the different vehicles and whatnot. Like, I feel like there's a pattern to the movements too. We just haven't like put our finger on it yet.
I agree. I totally agree. And I did just see too, real quick, Amber. I want to make sure that I stick to my word on this. We
Yeah.
are every time we hit 1,000 lives during or 1,000 likes during the live.
Mm.
Which by the way, I never ended the poll that I had running. So it said, who do you believe the male DNA that is untested belongs to? The real perps said 80%. Perps no longer living, being Mowich or Kopaka, 8%. Informant or cop, being and not the perps, 6, or some random person, 6. So the real perps, 80%. Now I am going to gift 5 Hive memberships. Let's see who all won those. Thank you to everybody that did hit like. If you join Hive Plus, also on Saturdays, I do a giveaway every Saturday. We have Mary Proberger, M. Catherine, 1269, Ash Brooks, 89, Think Twice, and Honey Buns, 66. Congratulations.
Woo!
Hoffy Master said, Dylan's other personality / friend is suspicious to me.
Dylan is she's something. She's something. But I really do feel a lot differently about Bethany than I do Dylan. I used to not. I used to like kind of look at them the same and defend them the same but over time I'm like, no. They act like two people that had two wildly different experiences.
Well said. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And Bethany seems very standoffish. Like, I can't wait to get the hell out of here and get away from this.
Real fear.
Yes. This is a good question for you that somebody had asked. 4 a.m. I think I could have been dreaming is just very, it's a very ironic timing of this username. And they said, Amber, if you think that Connor or C did this, why the cover up? That's a good question.
I mean, I don't know. I don't understand any of it, really. I don't understand why they have Jack Showalter and Connor hidden under their own case number. And Cole Barenberg, I guess.
That was crazy when you pointed that
What's
out.
the purpose of that? Like, I don't know. I know that Showalter's family has some like serious connections. I don't know if Connor Chestnut does. I don't know.
I think that's why
I don't
people are
know.
asking. Why would you hide certain suspects under a different case number in
That
official
really bothers
court
me.
documents?
Yes, the case number thing, that bothers me so bad. I've actually considered like trying to FOIA like literally everything under that case number. Give me everything. I don't care. Give it to me. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they're gonna hit me with like $1 million for like 5 papers.
Oh, it's like that guy who tried to get the missing persons list from
Yes.
Yosemite. It was like $1.4 million.
Yes. The missing 411 guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, and then he takes all this time, he puts it together, and they release it as like an FU to him.
Well, I hope they do that to us. Release
Yeah.
everything is a big FU to us. I'll take it.
So this is thinking pretty hard here. I do have it on expert mode. Okay, here we go. This is what it says. Courts and law enforcement assign different case numbers or seal and restrict records for a mix of routine administrative, privacy, and due process reasons, not usually to hide suspects. Legitimate or common reasons, administrative and tracking separation, which is strange. Sealing or redacting orders, protective measures, uncharged individuals, or parallel related investigations. That to me seems to
That
possibly
seems
check
to
a
me the
box.
most likely too, but what could be the parallel? Like, what's the other investigation?
Right. Grand jury, search warrants, early stage secrecy, more controversial or rare practices. Again, parallel construction. If you don't know like the actual parallel construction, like what that looks like, it's so interesting to see how cops will do that. How they will, it's not necessarily planting evidence, but they're using people who already work for them, being informants, to build a case up enough for them to get enough evidence to move on a separate case. It's very so they're like parallel constructing a crime with informants or people undercover so that they can move on another crime that somebody's suspected of sometimes.
See, I'm trying to put that in context here of like, I still don't, I come up with nothing. Like, what could be the reason?
I don't know.
It drives me crazy though. That single thing right there, I think, is one of the things that keeps me going back to Showalter and Connor Chestnut of like, what do they know about y'all? Or like, who are you guys? You know what I mean? Like that you have your own, that like you have your own case numbers and they're treating you so vastly different. Like Connor Chestnut, why? I've only recently run across his name in like some court documents and shit. I'm like, why do they seem to be hiding this dude? Like, you see Jack DeCour's name all the time. You see Jack Showalter's name all the time. You even see Mason Barstow's name all the time.
The only thing that I can think of that would be like not nefarious is that they're talking. They're singing like a bird about a bunch of other sketchy stuff they might know. And so it's some sort of protective measure.
Could be.
I don't know.
I know they have Cole Barenberg in there too, because he's like Jack Showalter's lab item 1, Cole Barenberg's lab item 2, Connor Chestnut's like 6. So there's like a big jump. But I'm like, why only these guys like that? I don't know. It makes my hair stand up. Very suspicious.
I agree. Okie dokie Lisa said Jose
Cruz.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thoughts on that?
The Pullman guy?
Yeah. It's just it's strange.
It is strange. And did they even like did he get convicted of that other break-in?
I'm pretty sure
Or did they let
yeah.
him go? I don't remember.
I think he did. Didn't he?
I think they have him listed as like he's the one that did
or
it.
was he only a suspect for it?
I think
was that what it was?
that might be what it is. I'm gonna have to relook that up again. I know they tried to get Brian Koberger for that after the fact.
Well, and according
so silly.
According to Steve G at CrimeCon too, Brian Koberger got away with a murder already.
What?
You didn't see this clip?
No.
Oh my God, you're gonna shit a golden chicken, Amber. This is insane.
Wait,
I can't believe you didn't see this.
No, I didn't see that, but this is a good question too. We need to come back to that.
Here, why don't you? So, do you want to read it and answer it while I look for this?
She said, "Wait, Girl Soul 11. What do you think of Dylan's telling the police that she didn't know what she was permitted to tell them? To me, it sounds like the 4 were erased." I don't know what you mean by that though. Like, do you know what she's talking about? Did Dylan tell the police she didn't know what she was permitted to tell them?
I think that Girl Soul could be referring, maybe Girl Soul, correct me if you're caught up to the live still. And that is, she said something like, "I'm so scared," or the story was, right? There was things that were caught on the, yeah.
I do wonder if that comes from, I recently learned when I was working on the social stuff that fraternities and sororities have like risk managers or like people that swoop in when people get like arrested or in trouble. Like before you call the cops, before you call anybody else, you're supposed to call them.
That blew my mind.
Blew my mind.
It's also just like, how is that legal? So you're going to tell somebody because they're in an organization, because you're trying to protect the name of the institution, that if somebody's dying, try to call your risk manager before you call the cops.
Crazy.
You got me fucked up. No way.
No, I don't understand how that's allowed to fly on the university or anywhere. And then you pay $1,000 for that. $1,000 for a house full of people to let you die because they're calling the risk manager before they call 911.
Again,
that's
just
insane.
A family member, and you hear that, I'm going scorched earth.
I promise you one thing that I learned from this case: my kids will never get near Greek Row. No, sorry, community colleges only.
And you're living at home.
Yes, right here with your mama.
Here's the clip. This is crazy.
Yeah, that guy has it coming. He's got to end where it is. It's coming.
He's not going to make it to be an old man in prison. I mean, eventually he's going to get out of his little protective custody and requesting his vegan meals and all that good stuff.
Jim Pop's going to be a pop of some sort. And, you picked on a small community. You thought we were a bunch of idiots. You came from the city, you came out here, and I've heard about his research paper that he did on the community because there was another murder in there and they never caught him. So he went there. He thought he had the right place. He picked them, and he's going to find out. He's going to find out if they're the right community or not.
Yeah.
What murder is he talking about?
I don't know. I've said this before, Amber, and we talked about this earlier this week. I've said for a long time that I feel like Steve G is talking through the screen to somebody, and he's not talking about
He
Brian
is.
Koberger.
Yeah, I do, because I've noticed that too. Like when he does speak, he doesn't speak a lot anymore. But when he does, it's like he's saying something through the TV. Like it's got the same feeling as when people like make pointed Facebook statuses towards their ex and think no one's going to pick up on that. You know what I mean? Like it's got that same energy.
It's so true. Everybody knows what you're saying. Just like just say you're crying in the club right now. Just say you're down bad. Like we all know, we can tell.
Exactly.
That's so true. But yeah,
But I wonder if that's talking about. I wonder if he's talking about. I don't remember if this was. I know it wasn't in Moscow, but I know it was close. Where there were like 3 stabbing related murders before this one. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, there were, and then, but I think where a lot of people's heads go is the missing woman in Pennsylvania that was found in the woods, right? What was her name? Somebody, I can't believe I'm forgetting.
Oh, so he was talking about in Pennsylvania. I thought he was saying there was a murder in Moscow.
I thought Pennsylvania, Brian Koberger hometown, and the name is somebody's in the chat's gonna get it. Sharon.
Let me look that up. I'm curious.
What was the last name of that? I'll just, as soon as I Google it, somebody will have Sharon, Pennsylvania. Was it Sharon?
Somebody said Sharon.
You know what?
Somebody said there was one in Washington.
Yeah, hilarious.
There was a murder in Pullman.
Dana Smithers.
I think I know that name.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it because Google populates it. Dana Smithers' sister breaks silence on Brian Koberger's connection to the Pennsylvania cold case. The sister of the Pennsylvania woman whose mysterious death was possibly linked to the University of Idaho murder suspect Brian Koberger. Oh, come on, you stupid pop-ups. Dana Smithers' sister, Stacy, Koberger's sister said there's no connection between the two cases. Dana Smithers' sister, Stacy Ann Smithers, said it is clear that Koberger 28 was not tied to the death, but yet they ran with it. So I don't know why Steve would be. You're right. Maybe he's not referencing that one.
Play that last part he said again about the small town.
Okay, I'll play the clip again.
Because he said he came to this small town thinking
that he'd get away with it.
Yeah.
That guy has it coming. He's got it. And where it is, it's coming.
He's not going to make it to be an old man in prison. I mean, eventually he's going to get out of his little protective custody and requesting his vegan meals and all that good stuff.
Pop's going to be a pop of.
Can we just talk about how crazy this is? That these people are live streaming about a hit in prison on this dude.
Right. That's what I was just thinking. Like, isn't murder for hire illegal?
Yeah.
Even among inmates? Pretty sure yes.
It's just crazy.
Oh
shoot.
Yeah, that guy has it coming. He's got it. And where it is, it's coming.
He's not going to make it to be an old man in prison. I mean, eventually he's going to get out of his little protective custody and requesting his vegan meals and all that good stuff.
Jim Pop's going to be a pop of some sort. And, you picked on a small community. You thought we were a bunch of idiots. You came from the city. You came out here and I've heard about his research paper that he did on the community because there was another murder in there and they never caught him. So he went there. He thought he had the right place.
So he said research paper on that community.
Yeah, like Koberger did a research paper on the community in an unsolved murder. I don't think he was referring to Pennsylvania.
I don't think he was either.
In Pullman or Moscow.
I didn't catch that the first time. That's wild.
I'll be looking into that. Looking that up.
Enigmatically sane. I finally got it right. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for also bearing with me saying the name. Said Dylan, the lies, the nonsense, the jacket, the footprints, the watch, the lack of emotion, Jack D, the phone activity, Snapchat, taking, editing, deleting pictures. She wasn't oblivious. She knew everything, allegedly. Dude, that is a goated way to say all that. I mean, seriously, that's think about what we just read. Not one lie detected right there.
No. And the jacket, the more I think about the jacket, the madder I get, because I noticed that in Chris Whitcomb's book, and I read it when I read it, and then I read it on camera, and it still didn't sink in until I was watching it again, and I went, hold up, how did I miss that? Where the jacket got tested by that individual, or that independent lab. It was blood. They deliberately sprayed that jacket down with Blue Star so that it would not pop positive, which is crazy.
Totally agree. And I think too, the cleanup and the blood in the hallway, Sammy T Mafia, it was like 3 or 4 times ago she was on the stream. She said it looks like a mop. Like if you take an actual mop and you let it hit the floor and it kind of splatters all these sporadic
It does.
ways.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yep. Especially the ones along the baseboards.
Yes.
That's exactly what it looks like. Mm-hmm.
Sierra.
What's crazy is how much of that is mixed with that unknown DNA that they just.
And if they started upstairs, that's why Kaylee and Maddie's blood would be mixed together in the same bucket. And so,
but it's like, why were the 4 of them never mixed together though? That still messes me up.
It's so true. It's so true. I don't know. It's hard to even keep
so
straight in
hard.
your head to think through it.
That's what I'm saying. Like every time we can start lining things up, there's something that doesn't fit. And I'm like,
right.
One day we'll have all the pieces.
Yeah. Sierra Zinger said, want to say a sincere thank you to Birdie and Amber. Those fighting for truth and refusing to be bought are the most important voices right now. Working on an album myself. Thanks so much to you both for being who you are. Sierra Zinger, are you a singer-songwriter?
I'll buy your album.
Yeah. Please share with us. And if you're in the Hive or our Discord, drop the link to your YouTube channel if you got music. I've used the intro song of people from the Hive before for like when I'm for the start of the show. People have wrote songs. Yeah, it's cool. All the intro actually too are all drawings or like AI art that at some point or another people have posted in the Discord, and I've collected it and made that. Yeah.
I love it.
Fiji 98. I haven't seen your name in a while, Fiji, and it sounds like you were gone for a little bit. Said, missed you, Birdie and Hive. 13 days hospital for a perforated ulcer. Holy shit. Amber, I love your series. You and Birdie both have great radio voices and connect authentically. Well, thank you, Fiji. Fiji is a Hive OG, like I think on TikTok before I transferred over to YouTube.
That's amazing. I do love that we were both like originally TikTokers. I feel like that gives us both like an edge. We talk fast. We like move things along because TikTok taught us to do that.
I also feel like you gotta have thick skin on TikTok. I'm convinced the algorithm shows you to people that hate you
all the time. This is the video you showed at the beginning of this, the one that you first seen me on or whatever. People were tearing me up in that comment section, and I was like,
"Yeah,
oh well."
Yeah, you know, it's the harshest one that I've got. I've said it probably 3 or 4 times, but this is the only one that's really burned into my head. Is somebody's like, "I wish you and your wife were in that house."
That's mean.
That's just
too far.
sick.
Too far.
Yeah,
too
like
far.
yeah, because I said maybe they got the wrong guy.
That too far. That's what I'm saying. The like level of like just pure meanness of like ill intent or like just the hatefulness some people have, like just because we have different opinions is wild. Like I would never. Like I don't care if you still believe BK is guilty, and I don't care as long as we can like talk respectfully to each other. I support your belief in that opinion.
I agree. I would love if somebody that still believes BK is guilty, like could stay calm through an entire interview and not somehow eventually end up coming at whoever they're debating's appearance or their looks, their smarts.
Me too.
I doubt that would happen.
Me too. I really thought about it because there was a girl on TikTok at one point, because I actually follow quite a few of the girls over there that are very mainstream. Ones that probably would kick me out of their follower list if they realized I was in there. But I like to hear different opinions. So I want to like keep up with them. But there was one that came out and was like, I'll challenge anybody that thinks he's innocent to like have a live with her, a debate. And I really thought about it, but then I was like, I feel like she's not doing it in good faith. She wants to debunk somebody, and that's not the way to come at it. Like, we'd both have to come. It would require somebody who could come at it like, I am here to hear you, and you are here to hear me, and we're going to hear each other out. And I feel like if anybody on the other side would ever be willing to do that, I would be glad to do that. Like, I know you would be glad to do that.
Right.
There's several of us that would.
Right. And I would have to know like a clear understanding. Like, are we here to debate the words on paper, or are we here to debate what a jury might think and how they interpret it? I've kind of been teasing this out there. I've had conversations with the mods briefly, but I really think that as far as forming this idea before I put it out there, really organize it, I'm hoping to do this in the next week. Rather than debate, it would almost be like a theory war. And you could argue for either side. And it would be, and then it would almost kind of turn into not like a bracket of where people's theories go against each other, but it would have to get to like a process of elimination of like, we have the poll tool where people could vote. Maybe there'd be like a character limit, like a character limit on your submission, 2,000 words, whatever's a reasonable amount where we could get through them and you could make your point. And then maybe have like the final two come onto the stream with visuals and argue it.
That would be so cool.
I think we could do it too. I feel like we could do it. And Julie Hughes, thank you for the super chat, said, "Hi Amber, love you. Is Austin A. Chicken Boy in your board behind you? He's EMT.
He's not on the board yet. He needs to be. But I just recently learned Chicken Boy's name when the interview came out. Yeah. When whoever it was got it, I never knew his name. I just kept calling him Chicken Guy.
Him and Shower Curtain Towel Girl. The one from Only Available, Not Available with the latex.
Oh yeah.
Both those two went way up on my list in the last.
Chicken Guy's pretty high up there with his like. I don't know if I was cutting chicken with a pocket knife, but then his buddy was like, "No, he cut his hand on a window," and then he's over here like motioning on his non-dominant hand. There was a lot. I was like, "Bro, you are suspicious."
Yeah. Hottie JG said, "Thanks. It's Danish. It's called a triangle in Denmark."
Oh, that's good to know. Fun facts.
I don't know. Is that like the English translation?
Threesome?
Because yeah, right. That's what I mean. But it's like, is that just like a very casual way to say threesome? Like, hey, do you guys want to have a triangle?
For real, like, do you call your friend and you're like, "Guess what I did last night? I had a triangle." Like, is that the correct usage of that?
You just look at your buddy from across the bar and you just like start doing stuff.
Listen, I know a couple swingers that's gonna love that one. I can't wait to tell them.
I feel like I wouldn't be able to take that serious. Like if I was in Miss Birdie, don't get mad, but I'm like, let's say me and Mrs. Birdie are over there and some girl walks up to us and says, you guys want to have a triangle? I would be like, did she just ask if we want to have a triangle? Right? Like, what is this?
I love other countries and their slang. It's so interesting to me.
Yeah. It's like the pineapple upside down, somebody said.
That blew my mind. Do you know how many times I've had pineapples on things? Because I actually love pineapple and I never knew it was like a thing until TikTok taught it to me one day. And I was like, well, there goes that. Let me throw out all my pineapple towels.
Dude, some of our friends, they have like pineapple couch pillows.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, every time we go over there, I'm like, babe, we have to ask them. I'm just curious. But it's like, what if it's not? I don't know how many people know that.
They might not know about the pineapple thing. They could be like me.
You're right. It could be doing them a favor. I got to tell them. I'd be like, bro, everybody thinks you and your wife are swingers. You have pineapple couch cushions.
Right. And then either be doing them a favor or they'll have lots of interesting stories for you.
Or they'll be like, well, we are. Yeah, that's why they're out. Juliet AF said, can you get Murphy to come on and just tell us already?
Oh, I wish we could. Wish there was whatever happened to that dog whisperer. Somebody hire him.
I forgot about that show. I used to
watch
always,
it all the time.
And Dog the Bounty Hunter too.
Yep, I used to watch that too. My mom loved that dog whisperer though. He was pretty good at it though. I wonder if he's still around.
I love that he would always offer them a cowboy killer as they're arrested. Just here, smoke a dart. Let's relax a little bit. Beth, his wife, just R.I.P. I think he died a couple years ago.
Who?
Or did Dog die or did his wife?
No.
Yeah, dude, right?
He
No.
did? Are y'all sure?
Oh, never mind. I could have swore, or was that somebody from Pawn Stars died? I could have swore there was like a big rerun show like that where somebody.
Could have been. Could have been.
Anyways, thank you to Birdie who gifted 5 Hive memberships. Boomer said, "Didn't JS have a girlfriend that went to WSU?"
Yes, that's a good point. Yes, yes. Even though I need to look into this. I know that he told them in his interview that she did, but I think the girl that the book named, wasn't she a U of I student? Or was that the WSU student? I'm gonna have to look that up again. But I do know that Showalter said in that interview that he spends a lot of time at WSU.
Mods, remind me after this. Sorry, Amber. I just have to say this because I don't want to type it in the chat. Remind me to tell you the dot that I might have just connected with somebody who tunes in and that detail Amber just said. And I'll say this. I just want to make sure I'm not crazy. I don't want to say it because it's like that would be nuts. But so if they went to WSU,
I know one of his main girlfriend did. He talked about it in his interview about how much time he spent at WSU. And that's why a lot of people didn't know him, because he had a girlfriend the first couple semesters and she went to a different school, and so he was always with her on her campus.
I think Luna just knew what I was about to, because I saw Luna say, "Oh shit, Birdie." Yeah.
Look, now I want to know.
Well, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to cause problems for them. So,
right.
Because I think it would be just even saying it, but it's Psycho Fool 8423 said the student who drowned in Moscow. It is hard for me to not believe that all of the frat hazing incident death, lack of investigation has something to do with this. Have you seen that comment going around about what Maddie told Adam? And it was about how they witnessed, apparently people putting a body into the river and they were there, getting rid of Hudson's body.
I have now the Hudson thing. That's suspicious. It is. There's a lot of connecting factors there. Of course, a lot of those student deaths are highly suspicious. I did a video on TikTok, like probably close to a year ago now, when I first started working on the case after the plea deal, where I lined up a lot of the deaths, and I only picked out like 1/3 of them, maybe.
Really?
And it was a long video.
I have to go back and
on and on and on and on.
I feel like the stuff that you've made your videos on is so prominent right now too. And so anybody that hasn't seen your stuff, especially on the Jacks, like that was such it was a great series. But yeah, I have to go back and watch some of them because like I said, I feel like you go deep into the documents and the connections.
Yeah, I tried to like zero in on a subject, for every video, because left to my own devices, I'll go everywhere. So I've got to train myself to like, no, this one thing. We're going to talk about this one thing.
Oh, it is impossible for me to pre-record. I give you credit. Oh yeah. And if I mess up, just like, motherfucker. Like,
oh, you should see some of the crash outs I have on camera sometime. Me and my cats especially, because they want to jump up on my table mid there or knock my ring light over.
Oh yeah. Well, and Aubrey and I, Mrs. Birdie, said we watched this YouTube, was it a Mormon mom that like left a crash out in her video that she posted yelling. It was that family that was in Utah. She became like a massive mom influencer. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Paul?
And then the kid ended up like being tied up. Like she started seeing this therapist a lot, or this counselor person.
I don't know the other ones. There's a lot of Mormon influencers.
No, but there was one that was on Netflix and it was crazy.
Like Ruby Frank, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, Ruby Frank. Yeah, yes. Yeah. That one's crazy, dude.
I don't know much about that one.
Watch it.
I never like watched it or anything.
It was just this spiraling downfall after this come up to the top. Like their house ended up having like special lighting in it all around because these kids it was like a reality TV show.
I do know, like it was abusive. Like it was
yes,
way too far. And like the kids were miserable. I do remember that. Maybe that's
Yeah.
why I didn't watch it because I have my youngest is still really little, so we're still really sensitive about the kids.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
like mom sensitivity is still hardcore right now.
I believe it. In Vegas, a congressman killed a journalist over an unfavorable story. What if Brian Koberger found dirt on MPD and they buried him? That theory of Brian Koberger found something he wasn't supposed to is reasonable.
It is. It is reasonable because stuff like that happens all the time. Like all the time. It's actually terrifying.
I also want to say too, I was not talking bad about Mormons. I'm just saying like that's how
Oh yeah,
was.
I love the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Okay,
That's on
I
our
love
TV.
watching my Mormon girls crash out.
Mrs. Birdie has her like 4 or 5 shows that I just know like her schedule, you know. And Hoffy Master, thank you for the super chat, said, was Dylan really just a happy accident pretty much at 4 a.m. years ago? Oh my God.
Pretty much at 4 a.m. Everything's pretty much.
Oh,
now when I say the words pretty much now, I like hear Dylan's voice in my head and I'm like,
me too. Me too. I've had it where like I'm in public and I'll say pretty much and I go pretty much. I've developed that. Yep. Amber, thank you so much for coming on the stream this evening.
Thanks for having me. I had a great time.
Yes, and here is where you guys can find Amber Vance. Do you have any closing thoughts for us?
I don't think so.
We got to do this again sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to.
So, Hive, I hope you all enjoyed this stream. Amber, I certainly did. I will be back on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central. Don't forget, Friday night, we have our call-in show. So start thinking through any theories or oddities from this last week. I'm sure there's going to be a lot. I always enjoy those. And please hit that like button and hit subscribe on your way out. Go check out Amber's YouTube and TikTok. And Amber, with that, thank you again. And I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Bye, guys.
Good job. Cheers, everybody. Bye.